And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, Trump. What's going on with Trump? Is he going to pardon Puff? Ghislaine Maxwell got moved. Is she about to get out? Is she about to tell? Are we going to see some names get named? Are we going to see some action from this? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Kamala Harris, former vice president, former California attorney general, and California senator, is not running for California governor in 2026. They think that she could run for president again in 2028. And for our sake as conservatives, I hope that she does. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, this whole American Eagle nonsense. American Eagle said, hey, check it out. You guys are upset because we got the pretty girl in the jeans commercial. Check it out. We're not going to apologize. Okay. The ad was successful. All the jeans sold out. The ad did what it was supposed to do. So get mad at it. We'll talk about that a little bit more as well. Also, the Corporation of Public Broadcasting will be shut down January 26th. And as a result, a lot of quote unquote rural radio stations will be affected. Now, some, like Bill Nye, the chemical engineer guy, say that we in these areas rely on these stations. Well, I don't know anybody that does. I put a question out there to the general public. They don't know. Everybody has satellite or Starlink or their cell phone. We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yes, indeed. Mauricio says, hello, not the chemical engineer. Hey, the chemical engineer. And thank you for joining for your first time, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, indeed. All right. But we got a whole lot going on here. There's a whole lot happening. People talking about Trump wanting to pardon Puff. Maybe that might happen. I called that. I mean, anybody could have called that because really, truthfully, to be totally honest, the case against Puff was weak. I'm not saying he didn't do anything wrong ever, but it's like when you put forward a case, you got to present a good case. It can't be so weak to the point where, all right, you say we're going to get this big mob boss on all these outrageous crimes. They didn't send out hits and they didn't embezzle money and all kind of stuff. And all you get them on is like a tax evasion or something small. It's like, well, listen, there are quite a few laws in the books. If this guy is so bad, then make a case, make it stick. That's why they went ahead and fired the prosecutor, James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, because that case was a mess. And there have been things before that. And that particular, what's that, New York Southern District? That whole district been a mess for a while. And she's been there stinking it up. She shouldn't even be there. The only reason why she's there is because she's James Comey's daughter. If you're going to do nepotism, at least do it well. Okay? Like, at least give me a good, give me one of your good kids. Don't give me the mess up. Don't give me the runt of the litter. Give me the good one. That's kind of how I see it. So, yeah, she went ahead and got fired because there could have been a solid case against, not Trump, but Puff, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Sean Combs. It could have been a good case, but she didn't have one. Or she didn't do it. But, like, she's just overall a screw-up. So I'm glad she went ahead and got fired. Put somebody in there that's competent. So then if they bring a case like that, they can actually get a conviction rather than getting them on 2 counts of the Mann Act. And to go back to Trump, this is probably part of the reason why they're talking about pardoning Puff, because all they got him on was a Mann Act, which is the same thing that Jack Johnson did back in 1913. Okay, remember I did that video, a black boxer, and he was dealing with white women. So that was the way to punish him because of some racial animus. So that same thing was used against Puff because they wanted to get him on the bigger things and they couldn't, so they settled for that. It was a consolation prize at best. And what I think is that upon sentencing, he'll be sent home because he got locked up in September of 24. Sentencing is in October of 25. Okay, why such a specific date? Is because it's after his initial apprehension, which means he would have done at least 1 year in jail before they let him out. It's like, all right, you did a year, go ahead and go home. They might do an ankle monitor or something like that. So if Trump was a part in them, it wouldn't really do any good. Maybe it'd get him off the ankle monitor. But since Puff wouldn't be so crazy in the news media, well, hey, you might need to do a little bit of time at home anyway. And we don't need no more Puff Daddy out in the streets sprinkling baby oil everywhere, okay? Take a little bit of time to hang out at the house and just relax, okay? No baby oil, no sex party supplies for Puff Daddy for a little while. But anyway, so shout out to Trump. And as far as NPR, I'm going to ask you guys, matter of fact, before we get started, I'm going to ask you guys, how many of y'all, I'm going to do a poll right now. How many of y'all in rural, okay, first of all, I ain't going to say rural. I ain't going to put it to you like that. How many of y'all depend or rely upon NPR and or PBS? Okay, I'm going to do a poll right now. And let's do a poll. How many of y'all rely upon NPR and or PBS? Or do y'all? That's a question. Do y'all rely upon NPR PBS? That's going to be the question. And it's going to be yes or no. But I'm going to ask you guys in the chat right now while I'm talking to you. Do you? How many of y'all? But here's the actual poll question. I put that right there. Do you rely upon NPR and or PBS? Yes or no? Because, you know, they talk, we're going to get to it. They're talking about, oh, well, they rely upon it in the rural areas. And I saw a map. I wish I could pull it up, but I don't, they want to gatekeep it. But there was a map I saw from Axios, I believe. And they had a map of where a bunch of the funding for this particular thing, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, they had a map of where their funding was. And a lot of it was like right over me where I live at. I'm like, this is not a rural area. And the areas that are rural, you have like a lot of, like there's never a moment where your cell phone don't work in these areas. There's nowhere around here where your cell phone don't work. So you're going to have access to whatever you need. And there's more than one news station. This is not some kind of far away backwater place. It's just not that. So we're talking about billions of dollars we're spending for what? For what reason? This ain't 1965 no more. But anyway, Devin says, NP what? Exactly. NP, huh? NP who? I have no idea. What's a TV? Exactly. Mauricio says, as reliable as The View. Exactly. Electron Vibe says, National Propaganda Radio. Dan says, the percentage you had voted for are joking. I ain't gonna say what the percentage is. Okay, Zealand Zen says, no more do rural people rely on PBS as a primary resource. In my opinion, maybe way back in the day, but y'all can, if you guys were around back then, like in the 60s, 70s, was it a big thing back then? And if it was, it's not anymore because the internet came around in the 90s. And then when the smartphone came, high-speed internet, high-speed 4G, 5G, you got Starlink, satellites. It's easy to be connected locally. Okay, it's easy to be connected locally, so there's no real reason to have to rely upon NPR, PBS anymore. We're not, this ain't back in the day. Remember the bunny ears on your TV for the young people out there. Ask your parents, if you're like 20 years old, ask your parents to dig out a TV, get one of them big back TVs with the bunny ears on it. You had to point it to the direction of the signal in order to get TV. I remember those days before cable, all that stuff came out. I remember those days, the bunny ears. And if you had cable, maybe you had 3 channels, 3, 10, 13. Hold on. See, now I'm showing my age, but let's do a TV with bunny ears before we get to it. Okay. One of these right here. Yeah, one of these bad boys. Okay. And you had to point the bunny ears, the antennas, into the proper direction in order to get a signal. Okay, and you had to dial, and you had to kind of like adjust the dial to get a good signal, because you got 2 dials right here, the one at the top, one at the bottom, and you had to adjust the one at the bottom just right, because there was another dial on the dial in order for you to get the picture and the frequency just right. It was like a radio, basically. It was like a radio with a TV signal. And then, of course, we've upgraded since then. But yeah, this right here was the thing for a while. Now, maybe when this was on your nightstand or on your your console, maybe when this was your TV, or it was much bigger than that. Obviously, this is like just a picture. When you had this monstrosity in your house, might have been big as a whole desk. Maybe NPR PBS would have been necessary, but in 2025, you got everything right here. That's right, Cassie. That put the foil on it. Yup, to get the extra boost. Hey, that's that eco boost right there. The foil on the bunny ears, for sure. Yep. So back then, NPR, okay, I get it. But now, man, come on, man. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody on their phone. Like, what are we even saying? I don't really understand. And then Sesame Street and all of that is still going on. They got that on HBO at this point. You can watch Sesame Street on demand. It's nothing. It's nothing. Okay. Yep, that's right, Tatum 32. You were the remote for the parents. Hey, go turn a channel. Change the channel. Matter of fact, you had to kind of be up there for a while to get to the correct station. That's right, Lawn Dog, called fine tuning. He had to fine tune it. He had to, and it had the remotes that were big and heavy like a cell phone. Okay, you could really beat somebody to death with one of them remotes back in the day. So back in those days, yeah. But now, nah, come on, man. Technology has advanced so much that the days of the past is unrecognizable. If you're born in like 2000, you have no idea about any of this unless you kind of like went back and looked at it and became educated. Frank says, I'm watching ABL on my 65-inch smart TV. There you go. There you go. See, remember when you could only just get whatever they put over the airwaves, whatever they put over the airwaves. If you were not like a TV network with basically a radio tower, nobody was able to see you, not on the TV. It just wasn't a thing. So let me just close this poll out right here. I think we get the message. So my question was, do y'all rely upon NPR and or PBS? Because as we know, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is being defunded, and some, they say, of their funds go to NPR and PBS, but mostly to the local stations. All right, so let's end that. 95% say you do not rely upon NPR or PBS. Now, I'm going to just assume the 5. I don't know where you live at. Maybe you living in a puddle in central Alaska somewhere. I don't know where you live at. Maybe you live in the fjord. Maybe you're stuck in the crevasse in Finland somewhere. I don't understand what's going on. But, hey, it's fine. If you rely upon NPR or PBS, I get it. But I think the majority of us say, nah, we have other ways to be able to access your satellite, Starlink, your cell phone, just regular TV, regular cable, fiber, whatever you got. That's just kind of what it is. All righty. Thank you to Chastity. Chastity says, hey, ABL, nice to see you on here today. Nice chatting with you on Instagram the other day. And thank y'all for joining the Instagram. If you guys are not familiar, I do an Instagram live show every Tuesday on the Instagrams. My Instagram link is always in the contact section of my website. I'm easy to find. Anthony B. Logan. I'm verified. It's fine. Check me out on there. That's usually right around 9 p.m. You know, I try to do an hour, but I be talking so much, I might do 2 hours. But 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am on Instagram every Tuesday doing a live stream over there. All right. So, yeah, shout out to you guys. Floor F-150. You guys are funny. Okay, NPR isn't needed. All right. I'm reading some of the comments. We got super chats already, but before I read any supers, let me just go ahead and shout out to the sponsors. First of all, you guys are the sponsor because y'all know without you, I couldn't do the show. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all, but also shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description, or go to patriotpost.us. Tell them that ABL sent you. Please go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com, and go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to see articles for each full-length video that I produce. And in each article, I have sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic Republic, politically agnostic, local, national, international, whatever you want. I got it right there on the front page of the website. Again, AnthonyBLogan.com. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com /contact us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my snail address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never gonna call it X, TikTok. All those links are right there on the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com /contact us. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you're speaking with me on the internet or not, you're probably not. My email is very easy to remember. And if you can't, it's on the website. It is contact@AnthonyBLogan.com. Again, contact@AnthonyBLogan.com. If you get an email and it's not from that email address, it's not me. And again, my email is always on the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com /contact us. All righty. So we got a few things going on, and shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. Chastity, okay, from Hickman, Tennessee. Okay. I remember you in the Instagram chat. Thank you for joining, for sure. Relaxation says, what I think about the ML game at Bristol. I had no idea. Like, you got to fill me in. Bristol, Connecticut, Bristol, Tennessee. Is it a pro, minor? What's happening? I don't know. I'm out of the loop. You got to fill me in. Greg says, Benny Hill at 11:30 p.m. on my 13-inch black and white TV. Explains a lot. Hey, man, I remember those days. Hey, the 13-inch, man, you had some money. You had a 13-inch. Like, that was like one of our first things. It was an accomplishment. We got a 13-inch TV. And if you had 13-inch color TV, that was the one. A 13-inch color TV, oh, boy, you were the man. You were the absolute man. You had money. You were rich at that point. We were playing video games on the 13-inch TV with bunny ears on it back in the day. Hold on. Now I'm nostalgic. Hold on. The TV, I remember, it was very specific. And if I see it again, it was pretty much like this. Pretty much like this. Like this was like, if you had this, you had money. Hold on. Let me pull it up right quick. Like something like that. Oh yeah, you were rich. You were rich if you had this. You see, you got the buttons on the front. So it was like, okay, the remote, maybe I don't need it. I'll need to do all the fine tuning. Oh, this right here, if you had this or something that was like it, you had money for sure. A 13, like to see how big the TVs have gotten nowadays, 75-inch. I know when my uncle and them had got a 75-inch, something crazy back in the day. It felt like it was a movie theater in their house. But nowadays, that's just like regular. I went over there the other day, or recently, not the other day, and I think it was the same TV that was there from way back in the day, but now it looked like regular. But back then, it's like, oh my God, can you please reduce the size of this TV? Reduce the size of the television in here. It's too big for me. It's too big for my eyes. It was crazy. I ain't like it. But now it's like, it's become so common that it's regular and it's just what it is. Hold on. London says ABL, Sony Trinitron 19-inch color TV. What was that, top of the line? Yes, for sure. Those TVs, the first color TVs, those were the big deal. And if you had a big screen TV, in order for you to have a big screen TV, it had to be, it was so big. Listen, my dad had one of them big screen TVs, and this one lived in Willoughby Spit in Norfolk. If you know about Willoughby Spit, basically you have houses that are on pilings. You know what a piling is? Pilings are when you have a housing structure on, basically in this case, you have a housing structure on sand or on a place where water is going to come up underneath it a lot. It's because you right there at sea level, below sea level, exposed to the elements. The same way they do out there in the Outer Banks. Remember them houses were falling off of the pilings and going into the water? It was like that. So there was no elevator or nothing. We have to go up to the third floor. So we got to go up the pilings, the stairs on the pilings, then 1 floor, 2 floor, 3 floor with one of them big back heavy TVs. And I got to show you this right here. It was like a floor model. But not one of them. It wasn't one of them big heavy wooden ones. It was like this. It was just like this. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Yeah, one of these rear projections. And these weren't even that big. Okay, matter of fact, let's put it in context. This bad boy right here, see how big this is? This was 60 inches. 60 inches. And that's not even that bad. That's not even that bad because you could have had something like this. And you see how wide that is? That might have been 50 inches right there. You see how big it look how big it is compared to the furniture right next to it. We had to carry that. It was me, my dad, my uncle having to carry this. It was like moving the bed frame that weighed 1,000 pounds. It was like moving not even the mattress. Mattress would have been kind of easy. It was like moving the refrigerator upstairs with no dolly or nothing. Just straight up manpower. Manpower. It's like, man, so now we got the flat screens. You could be a soccer mom and just load that in the back of your Subaru and go about your day. Ain't no more having a 3-man team to move these heavy bit back pieces of equipment. But anyway, hold on. Retro says my sister had one. It was 500 pounds. Hey, things are heavy. Heavy. It's like moving the fridge with no food inside. Just straight up bulk. So technology has advanced to the point where we got basically picture frames on the wall you can watch as a TV. For me, it's mind blowing. And the cell phone is even the crazier thing because I remember back in the day wanting a handheld device that I could watch TV on the go. But I'm like, how are they going to do that? I'm trying to think as me being 8 years old in like 1994, 1992, how can they do that? But then when this came along, it's like, well, they did it. They sure did it. But anyway, if you like what you're hearing so far, you know what to do. Please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I'm going to read some of this, and then I'm going to keep rocking. I ain't going to hold you guys too long. Okay, and the street says we might have some foldable TV in the future. Wrap that up like a yoga mat. Hey, that's totally fine. That's great. Like it's a rug. Just roll her up, and then when you're ready, roll her back out, throw her on the wall. They already got the foldable phones. They got those. I seen the phone in China that has a trifold, like it's a brochure. I'm like, wow. It's only a matter of time before they just increase the size because they got tablets that can do it as well. So make the tablet, and think a tablet is bigger than our old school 13-inch TVs right now. So all they got to do is increase the size of the tablet, throw it on the wall. There go your foldable OLED right there. Okay, but now here's Trump talking about Puff. Okay, here's Trump talking about Puff. Will they give him a pardon? What's going on?
Sean Diddy Combs.
Right.
Would you consider pardoning him?
Well, he was essentially, I guess, sort of half innocent.
Yes.
I don't know what they do. He's still in jail or something, but he was celebrating a victory, but he seems, I guess it wasn't as good as a victory. Probably, I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well. But when I ran for office, he was very hostile.
He said some not so nice things about you, sir.
Yeah, and it's hard, like you, we're human beings.
Right.
And we don't like to have things cloud our judgment, right? But when you knew someone and you were fine, and then you run for office and he made some terrible statements. So I don't know, it's more difficult. It makes it more, I'm being honest, it makes it more difficult to do.
But more likely a no for Combs?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about George Santos?
Boy.
All right, so, well, that's a good question about George Santos because, remember, George Santos was in office. I think he was a House rep from New York, right, if I'm not mistaken. And then he got caught up with gifts and stuff like this, weird stuff, right? And then he got sentenced to like 8 years in the penitentiary, like kind of ridiculous. So, and then somebody asked, why would he pardon Puff? Well, the reason why he might pardon Puff is because he pardoned Jack Johnson for doing the same thing. Now, of course, Jack Johnson, a different era, different context, but Trump has been known to pardon celebrities and things of this nature. But I think it'll do a lot to help relations with the country if that something like that was to happen. But maybe it wouldn't, because it depends on how people see him. If they see Puff as some kind of degenerate, bad person, it'll just be a negative thing that will be unnecessary. I don't know. But I think there could have been a chance of him pardoning them because of his history with pardoning guys that have that type of allegation on their back. The Mann Act, which is what they got Jack Johnson for back in 1913. But of course, again, much different context. See, Puff was just living this rich life, just doing all types of random stuff. He was doing a lot. Jack Johnson was not that. He was just black guy, white race. It was a lot happening at that time. That's not happening right now in 2025. Okay. So here's Bill Maher talking about Zoran might help elect J.D. Vance. Okay. Now, of course, we're talking about Zoran Mamdani, the potential next mayor of New York City. And by the way, hold on, before I get to Bill, let me just show you what's happening with the polls out there in New York. And if you live in New York, please, man, hey, you guys are the chief city. We can't have y'all fall. Okay, we can't have y'all fall. Hold on. Let me go right here. Yeah, if you guys fall, we got a problem. So here we go. So you can see the poll right here. This is from July 31st, 25. So just a couple days ago, Zoran is leading at 38.1%, Cuomo at 25%, Curtis Sliwa at 15%, Eric Adams at 11.5%, and Jim Walden, whoever that is, at 1.1%. Now, something I want to point to right away. If you have everybody else drop out except for one, and I would say at this point, just put everybody behind Cuomo. I like Eric Adams. I like Eric Adams better than Andrew Cuomo. I like Curtis Sliwa better than Cuomo, but not better than Eric Adams. Not for New York. Although I like him. I like both of these guys. I like Curtis and Eric. But you can see the numbers. Andrew Cuomo is more popular than almost the both of these guys beneath him combined. Almost. Not quite, but almost. So if you take their people and push them to Cuomo, then Zoran loses. So again, I would like Eric Adams. I in a perfect world, I would want Cuomo and Sliwa to drop and then leave it to Eric. But if Eric is polling at number 4 right now, why would I do that when Cuomo's number 2? You see what I'm saying? So, New York, please, I beg you, do not elect, please don't elect Zoran, because as New York goes, the country is going to go. You guys got 19 million up there in the metro, New York City, that area, 19 million, 20 million people right around. You guys are the top city in the USA. If you guys fall because of that communist, it's going to impact all of us. And that could be what Bill Maher is saying, that the election of Zoran Mamdani could bring in a J.D. Vance, because there's going to be a backlash in New York when they realize what his policies are. The same thing that happened in this country under Joe Biden, because we saw what he did. What did he do? Open the borders. It impacted us negatively. It hurt us. It seriously hurt us, and it cost us billions. It hurt us physically, financially, all the above. So if you have Zoran that comes in and messes New York up the same way Biden messed the USA up, it's going to be a backlash. But let's hear what he says.
New York is New York. It's definitely it's the media capital, the financial capital. It is a bellwether like no other city is in this country. So don't tell me that who the mayor of New York is doesn't matter.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Do you think, let's say, on the seize the means of production, do you think that the mayor, that one person, if he is a democratic socialist, do you think that he would have the power and influence to be able to, usher in socialism?
He definitely has the power and influence to elect J.D. Vance or whoever is the Republican candidate next time. It is a walking commercial for the Republican Party
I think
nationally.
the Republicans are going to.
When you let the Democrats, socialists, and now they're actually calling themselves socialists, when you let them take over a major American city, this is what you get. The state-run grocery stores, which work so well in Cuba and the Soviet Union and Venezuela, just bad ideas. And again, this ugly streak, streak of anti-Semitism.
Who's the most popular politician on the left?
AOC? I don't know.
One of, but who's Bernie? Bernie is Bernie is. I mean, he's not a
Bernie
capitalist.
No, he's not, and he's also not president.
He's not. But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will.
And the guy he's talking to, that's Brian Tyler Colin. He's a YouTuber as well, like a leftist guy. I don't like him.
He's not. But
never would be.
But neither is Mamdani.
No, but he will, trust me, he will be featured in the campaign commercials.
But they're going to feature people. They boogeyman.
I don't like this guy. I like Bill Maher more than this guy. Bill Maher is like this guy's dad. That's kind of how I see him. Or maybe it's like his uncle or something. That has a little bit of sense, right? Like a kind of a normie that has a little bit of sense. This guy's right here is like he's 5 years old, but he's like 35 years old.
Feature people. They boogeyman everybody.
Yeah, but you don't have to boogeyman him. He does it to himself.
But they'll do it regardless. Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but
they make anybody into boogeyman.
It has.
I think it was
just have more weight when it's real. I mean, when you can really show it.
Exactly. So shout out to Bill Maher. I mean, Bill Maher is one of my favorite leftists. Meaning, I wouldn't align with him mostly on anything, but as a leftist person, he at least tries to use his brain a little bit. He's not a complete moron like a lot of these guys, like that boy that was just right there. Okay, I got one more for Bill Maher. This is going to be on the show. Now, this is where I disagree with Bill Maher, but I'm going to still play it.
See, Nate Silver, really smart guy, says this is their Russiagate. This is a new Russiagate. Yeah. I would like to take exception to...
And the caption, the context is about Russiagate is Tulsi Gabbard going after Obama because of the whole trying to set Trump up with Russia thing.
This analogy, because this has really obsessed me while I was off this month, because Tulsi Gabbard is going after the Democrats. She says Obama is a traitor, basically, who tried to pull off a coup. That's rich. She said President Obama and his national security cabinet members manufactured and politicized intelligence to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup. It's the I know you are one of my defense. But, it has astonished me for quite a while that a lot of people, not just on the right, people sort of in the middle, have been saying for a very long time now that Russiagate was a nothing burger. I think it makes them feel like I was the smart one who said that all along. Russiagate was not a nothing burger.
It was a nothing burger. It was always a nothing burger. And everybody knows that the only reason why it happened is because they wanted to keep Trump out of the White House. If not for that, then you would never hear a word about it.
Was a burger. Maybe it wasn't a juicy steak, but it was a burger. I would like to show you one little piece of tape, and then we could talk about it, that I remember, because their contention is that, Putin had no preference in this election. That's why we know this was a conspiracy of Obama. I remember this from Helsinki. They're asking Putin directly in Helsinki.
Found in an appropriate
did you want
legal
President
framework.
Trump to win the election, and did you direct any of your officials to help him do that?
Да, я хотел, чтобы он выиграл. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, why is that a bad thing? So, if you are the president of a country and you want one person to win over the other, why wouldn't you do what he did, which is to say, yes, I want him to win, and if we can help, cool. But what did he actually do? If I say I want Trump to win, and I say things that help him get elected, am I wrong for that? I think that's a normal thing to happen. That's not a burger. That's a nothing burger.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
All right. So there we go. Again, that's in response to Tulsi Gabbard talking about, trying to get Obama, trying to I don't really see nothing coming of it, just like nothing came from the whole Russia thing. And Russia was a nothing burger. There's more evidence about Obama than there is about Trump. But hey, it is what it is. Now, Kamala Harris not running for president. Hey, and here I'm gonna say something right now to the Stephen Colbert. Hey, Stephen Colbert, if you're watching, your team and you watching, y'all are so petty. Y'all are so petty and weird, and that's why your show sucks. That's why don't nobody watch it. That's why. Listen, pardon me. So let me tell you what happened. Okay, I put up my video about Kamala, which don't nobody watch nobody because don't nobody care. But anyway, I put the video up because she was on Colbert talking about it. I'm like, okay, let's get some of her reaction to what's happening on Colbert. Now, I know how to do my fair use stuff. I cut it up. I talk every few seconds to make sure that I don't go too long. Do you know these guys went in there and manually copyrighted me for 10 seconds of video from Stephen Colbert? It's like, come on now. I know we got fair use. I know we got all of that. And they're so dumb, they didn't even keep it monetized so they could get a piece like ad sharing. They just demonetized it, like the whole video. I'm like, why? Nobody's watching you as it is. You should take this little bit of exposure I'm giving you. But see, that's why old school media out of the window. All of them are going to be out of the window. They don't provide any kind of entertainment. They don't really want to get new viewership because the way you get new viewers is by allowing promotion, allowing reaction videos and stuff like that. Listen, if I'm put in the reaction compilation, let's say I make some original content. Matter of fact, hold on. I want to rant for a minute. Let's say I make original content, right? I'm on my phone talking about whatever. And then someone puts me in the compilation clip. Someone does a reaction. Someone does something. It's fine because regardless of what, I'm still going to be all over your phone, all over your TV, all over your internets, all over your computer browser, everywhere. You're going to see ABL some kind of way. So for me, it's beneficial, but they don't see it that way. They see it as, I'm going to take a little bit of their money. Why does it matter when you have no money anyway, Stephen Colbert? But look, that's why, look, it's fine though, because that's why you guys over on the Colbert show will be out of a job in a few months. So it don't even matter. And the way Colbert is acting, you want to get up out of there right now. So, hey, Colbert, keep up the act and you guys will be out of a job sooner than later. So there'll be no more show for me to react to at all. How about that? But anyway, that was on my chest.
Kamala Harris says she will not run for California governor in 2026. Knowing you as you do, what do you make of this decision? And then what do you think this means for a potential re-presidential run in 2028?
Look, it was the right call. It was a good instinct because she lost 2 million votes from the 4 years earlier when President Biden won California, her home state. So she would have had, I think, some challenges to overcome, even among Democratic voters in California. I think it was the right call. I do think it means she's going to run. I fully expect her to run for president again. She's young. She's been sort of running and in political office her entire adult life. I don't expect her to sit the next election out, but I hope she's able to overcome some of her previous challenges, mainly communication, answering questions, taking declarative positions, and a degree of authenticity that only comes with accessibility, which unfortunately she was not.
Yeah, I mean but see, that's their fault though. That's 100% their fault because if they don't put Kamala in the vice presidential role, then they don't run her. It was funny. They were trying to get her out of the White House by some kind of way. Remember, prior to election time, campaign time, they were trying to get Kamala out of the White House because they knew that Joe Biden could not succeed. Joe Biden could not run. He was 1,000 years old and looked every bit of it. He was not going to be able to run. The first time they were able to kind of get away with it because of COVID. They put him in the basement, right? They put him in the basement and let him run for there. But now, 2024, ain't no more COVID. So what's the excuse now, Joe Biden? You're not going to be able to do the whole basement thing again. It's not going to work. And you're unpopular. The migrant crisis was very unpopular. So they were trying to get her out of the way and then put someone else in there. They probably wanted to get Josh Shapiro to replace Kamala as a vice president. So then when Joe Biden could not run anymore after the primary is over with, they just do the switcheroo and say, hey, okay, here goes Josh Shapiro. But they couldn't do that. They had to run with Kamala because if you X Kamala out, then you're racist against black women, which was the whole purpose of you getting her in there, was to demonstrate how you're not racist against black women. But now you just want to get her out the way for no reason, and then put the Jewish guy in there. That would have been all bad. That would have been all bad. So that's just them kicking the can down the road. Let's see what Stephen A says about this. I'm interested to see his take on it and see if it's original. Let's check it out.
I am very, very happy that the
RIP to the headphone user. Sorry for the loud noise.
Former vice president, the former Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America, has declared that she has no intentions of running for the gubernatorial seat in California, and in all likelihood that she's not planning to return or to re-enter the broken system of American politics. And the reason I'm happy is because I didn't want to see her lose again, because she'd lose. California's not high on Newsom, and as a result, they're not high on most folks on the left side of the aisle. This guy Caruso is everybody's name. It's in everybody's. Is the name that's coming out of everybody's mouth. Businessman, real estate guy, if I remember correctly.
Is that the guy who was able to protect the shopping center that he owned during the wildfire? Is that him? If that's him, I like him.
Somebody that folks believe will do better for the city and for the state of California. But when we get into Kamala Harris, we're not going to insult and denigrate her like folks on the right tend to do, questioning her intelligence and insulting her with name calling.
Bro, come on, man. Like, why we got to do that? Come on, man. Like, see, that's why I don't like guys to be on TV because they soft. Come on. Like, Kamala is not a smart person. It is what it is. Kamala could barely put two words together. Kamala is worse. Kamala is as bad as Joe Biden when it comes to communication, but Joe Biden is just 1,000 years old, and he sounds like it and looks like it. Kamala has no excuse. She's just not very bright. She really shouldn't be in this position at all. Talking about trying to be the president. She shouldn't be in that position. DMV at best. Not attorney general, senator, vice president. This is not a role that she should be in. She should not be in this sphere at all.
And all of this other stuff. No, we're not going to do that. But what's undeniable is the fact that she's not the most popular Democrat out there that people gravitate to. The Dems did everything that they could in those last 107 days to give that impression. But the reality is that the reason why she only had 107 days is because they didn't have any faith that had she arrived on the scene sooner, that she could warrant winning the Democratic nominee.
All right, so there we go. There goes Stephen A. So what do y'all think about that? I mean, look, man, like ain't no point in trying to act like Kamala is some type of. There's no point in trying to act like Kamala is anything other than what we can all see, which is a moron. It is what it is, man. Just say it like that. We don't even got to really play games. We don't have to play games. There's no need to do that. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. J.R. Williams says, ABL, who is worse, Kamala, Crockett, or AOC? That's a good one. I'm going to go with Jasmine Crockett. Yeah. Because Jasmine, I'm going to tell you what Jasmine is good at. I'm going to tell you her pros and cons. Jasmine is good at being able to get attention, but Jasmine is not good at actually articulating points that make sense, nor is she good at, how can I say, she's not good at recognizing, she's not good at developing a sound strategy to actually succeed in anything. So you get attention, but for what purpose? What's the reason why you get the attention? You're able to get speaking engagements and stuff like that, but what are you saying at the speaking engagement? They just kind of want to be entertained, but they're not getting any kind of substance. So that's why I say that Crockett is bad. AOC is just, AOC got some attention early, but now she kind of fell off, to be totally honest. And Kamala is just someone who's kind of a deer in the headlights, has no business being here at all. Okay, that's kind of what's happening. It's like lying on your resume, talking about you got 15 years of HVAC experience. Meanwhile, you're not even able to change the filter in the air duct. You don't know nothing about HVAC. So you get on the job and they say, okay, we're going to put you out in the field, give you a truck, give you some tools, and you got to fix 15 of these units in the week or whatever the number is. You're not going to fix any of them. You're going to be like, dude, with the metal lens talking about, hey, what do I do? If that's Kamala, totally unqualified to be anywhere near this. Okay. Let's keep on going here.
I don't know.
This is Charlamagne talking about it. And let me just go ahead and start that.
I don't know if she should run again, but I definitely would like to see her write a book. I definitely would like to, see her start a podcast and just build a real connection with people, And she is, relatively young. I just don't know what's going to happen in 2028, man. I just think Democrats suck so bad. I don't know.
The Harris got to get to the root, the grassroots of it.
I don't know if she should run again, but I definitely would like to see her write a book.
So what do y'all think? Would you like to watch the Kamala Harris podcast? She got the book out because of the campaign, all of that. Everybody want to cash out, but do you want to hear the Kamala Harris podcast? I mean, how much cackling can you take in a very short period of time? Here's Scott Jennings on it.
You need to will this into existence. Here we go. My friend, my brother, I pray every day that these Democrats nominate Kamala Harris in 2028 again. And you're here down talking. I don't understand.
I just don't see it, Scott.
I need you to help me will this into existence. It would be the best for America.
Well,
Democrats,
for our party, of course.
If you, whatever.
But Scott,
I say that you don't like. Please, Kamala Harris.
Be careful for what you ask for.
You need to.
Okay, yeah, Kamala, that'll be perfect. I say run her. If you're gonna run somebody, I say run her. Why not? It's fine. I have no problem with that at all. Now, going back to New York right quick, this is part of the reason why we don't need Zoran in there, because listen, what's up with your infrastructure, man, in New York City? What's up with the flooding? Or I should ask you guys this. Here's probably a better question. Are you guys experiencing different weather in New York than you're used to? Because what's going on with all this flooding and that water? Listen, I would not want to be within 1,500 feet of that water. Because, look, somebody said it. They said the water got scabs on it on the top. Let's watch some of this, shall we?
차가 둥둥 떠는데 운전을 하네.
New York, are you guys okay? Like, really, are y'all okay? Because what's going on? Where's all the water coming from? Is this abnormal? Are you guys experiencing a new phenomenon? Is this something that's different? What's going on? Because down here in Tennessee, we're experiencing a lot of rain. It's like, it felt like the weather didn't shifted. I told you about the North Pole shifting, the magnetic north is shifting. I feel like we're getting some of the Florida constant rain showers throughout the day for no reason. It'll just be a rain shower for like 15 minutes and then it'll stop. We're getting some of that you probably see in Miami, Florida. We're getting that a lot up here in Tennessee, Georgia, etc. So are you guys experiencing a different weather pattern than what you're used to up there in New York? Okay, Daryl says the subways flood all the time. The city is at sea level and there's nowhere to pump the water. Oh, well, there it is. There it is. New York City being at sea level is crazy. That many human beings at sea level is wild. Totally wild. Yeah, but I tell you what, that water in New York, do not get in it. If I see one of y'all swimming, I'll say a prayer for you, man, because you might not make it. Hey, if I see you swimming in that water, I'm going to say a prayer because you might not make it. Man, it's going to be everything you can imagine in the water. The rat's going to be having Michael Phelps in there. Backstroke, front stroke, all of that in the water. And the rat's going to be humongous. It'd be cats, rats, and dogs looking the exact same in the water, having a swimming contest. Who going to win? The rat, the cat, the bat, or the dog? What's going on? Anyway, so yeah, hopefully you guys stay safe out there in New York City and anywhere else where it's flooding. Okay, now here's a good video about the welfare state. Matter of fact, before I get to that, before I get to the welfare state video, that's a good one. I got a question because I've seen this or a map that's like this all over the internets, okay? So I want to discuss with y'all. Maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't. So this is about what the actual South is. There was another map I saw that was better than this one, but I'm going to just use this because we can debate. Now you can see where the black areas are. I guess that's southern, but not the South. And the more yellow oranges areas, that's supposed to be the South. And then the red circle, the deep South. And then once you get to the blue, it's like not the South. It's just like Texas, basically. Now, I'm going to say that there's first of all, Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, that's all South. But there's a caveat. Right up in here, okay, I would say maybe some of Ohio, like this area here, from Pennsylvania, Ohio, Southern Ohio, Eastern Kentucky, Tennessee, close to the mountains, close to the line right here. And really, I would say Alabama, Mississippi up here, North Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, that's Appalachia. So that's a different region. And West Virginia is totally in Appalachia. But the people that live in West Virginia are the same as the ones in Eastern Kentucky and East Tennessee. It's the same people. It's the exact same people. And I lived in West Virginia, and now I'm in East Tennessee, right in Appalachia. It's the same people. Whenever I go back home to West Virginia, it's the same. Now, when I go to Virginia Beach, Norfolk, we're right there on the line of North Carolina. We're on the border. So that's all Southern. Once you get up here, Fredericksburg, all of that, now you are in DC. So up here, all of that, DC, Maryland, Virginia, that's its own little thing. That's just DC. That's like how Atlanta is its own thing in the South. DC is like that for the South as well. Once you get past DC, the Mason-Dixon line, once you get past that, now you're in the North. But you're still in Appalachia if you are in the western part of Pennsylvania, Southern Ohio, all of West Virginia, Western Virginia, all of that, that's still Appalachia. It's a southern region, but you're up in the mountains, so culturally, it's much different. Crominian says, a lot of crossover. My grandpa grew up in Ohio in the 30s and the 40s and used a lot of Appalachian slang. 100%. All day long. Now, to get back to this, Texas, I consider to be its own thing. I don't consider Texas to be the South. I think Texas is Texas. There's Southern influence, but it's not the South. Texas is its own, because at one point it was its own country. It was its own republic. Texas is Texas, but it has Southern influence on the eastern part of the state, but not all of the eastern part of the state. You know, it's kind of weird the way that works. Okay. Yeah, shout out to West Virginia, absolutely. All right, I'm reading some of your comments, but I'm gonna keep on rocking here. Now let's get to the welfare state situation. Now I put out a short video about the welfare state, incentivizing people to just stay at the bottom of society, just never to improve, to be the permanent underclass of society. I put that video out, but here's a little bit more about the welfare state and how it impacts people.
Again, the expansion of the welfare state penalized work, penalized intact families, and I think what it did was it weakened a sense that we can be, either made by history or we can be forces that make history and bend the history curve in a direction of progress. And that's why the work that you're doing now is so important. It's putting fathers back in the family. It is, in fact, encouraging families to stick together. And most importantly, it's basically teaching us that the magic of this country is that we put our faith in God, and we understood that God was the grantor of liberty, not government.
Right.
Again,
there you go. So that's right on. That is right on. So shout out to Jack Brewer. Shout out to my man right here. Was that Ken Black? I'm not sure about his last name, but shout out to him. He's right on point. When you have the welfare state, when you incentivize a low level of productivity or no productivity, when you incentivize that, you're going to get a lot more of it. When you incentivize the fathers to not be in the home, you have a lot more crime and violence, a lot more poverty as a result. So getting that back together will help the country go forward. And I think the longer we don't have that the way it's supposed to be, the more we're going to have problems in the country. For sure. Okay. Yeah, I did see that. JR says, did I see the MAGA hat guy kicked out of the game? I saw that, but I didn't even want to play that because the guy, matter of fact, I'm going to show that because I don't think this was something that was the security's fault. I think it was about the stadium itself. If I can find it, I'll put it up. But yeah, I don't really blame that on the security necessarily. Okay. My thoughts on Charleston White. He's a character, like he always says. Charleston White says he is a character playing a role on the internet. So I take him as seriously as that. As somebody playing the character on the internet. And it's fine. It's okay. That's what he said. I'm not trying to attack him. I'm using his own words. And with that, I can appreciate what he does. It's kind of like Candace Owens, because Candace at a certain point has become kind of a character. And you can't take all of what she says seriously. Some of it, yes, but not all of it. And I just compartmentalize that way. Same thing with Charleston White. I don't take everything he says seriously. And sometimes I do, but not all the time. But I lead with, he's an entertainer, so this might not be right. He might be lying. He might just be saying anything that he wants to say, but it's not always going to be from a genuine place. He may just say something just to say it. Anyway, so look, shout out to the vegans. Listen, some of y'all be doing too much. They held a funeral inside Trader Joe's, and listen, this right here is why I don't want to really go to Trader Joe's. I'm not trying to talk to the transformer up front. I'm not trying to have some of these kind of individuals descend upon me. Okay, I'm in there. Let's say I'm wearing a MAGA hat or something like this. We the people, 1776. I don't got it right there. Let's say I'm in there with something political on, and then these geniuses descend upon me. I'm in trouble.
Untimely deaths of the chickens whose bodies are here behind us. Chickens who were slaughtered at Purdue's Petaluma Poultry Slaughterhouse. We are here to honor their lives because no one else is.
Oh my God. Okay, I don't know what that was at the end. You hitting the tones and chanting and stuff like this. Bald head white dude, what you think, you Mahatma Gandhi or something like that? You better get back to Encino, California and stop all this nonsense. But look, check it out. You held a chicken funeral, that's totally fine. But chicken is delicious. So those chickens right there in the pictures, that's just a handful. It's going to be a whole lot more, okay? If I could have a whole chicken farm in my backyard, and get fresh new chicken every day to eat, then I'd do that all day long. All day long. So yeah, bald head, fake Buddha, man, go back to Beverly Hills, California and stop all this nonsense. But yeah, man, Hey, if you vegan, that's fine. I don't care. But why we gotta do all that? Like, I don't really understand. I don't really get it. What they should be fighting for is the health of this country. Have you seen childhood obesity rates going through the roof? Okay, let's check this out.
What will the test look like now? I mean, we all remember, the sit and reach and the.
For a little bit of context. So the president is bringing back the presidential fitness test, and it's going to include a few things. Okay, push-ups, pull-ups, the mile or quarter mile. And from what I saw, it didn't appear to be that much. Matter of fact, hold on. What I want to do, before I get into RFK and his voice, well, the test is, okay, I can't do his voice yet. But before I even get into that, I just wanted to show what the test is supposed to be, just to make sure that we are all on the same page. All right. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, and here we are. So it says 1 mile run, pull-ups or push-ups, sit-ups, shuttle run, and the sit and reach test. That's going to be on the actual the fitness test. And I'm reading some of the caption. It says President Donald Trump signed an executive order Thursday afternoon reinstating the National Fitness Assessment implemented in public schools from 1956 until 2013. So up until recently, the White House official told NBC News that President Trump aims to address Americans' declining health and physical fitness, including crisis levels of obesity, chronic disease, inactivity, and poor nutrition. The role of administering this will follow on JFK, etc. So you get the idea. So let's go to JFK and see what he says about it. And shout out to JFK, making America healthy again. We most certainly need that. But let's go ahead and get into it.
What will the test look like now? I mean, we all remember, the sit and reach and the pull-ups and all of it. But we've learned a lot since then. So can you tell us what the test will look like now?
I can't, because we don't know exactly what the tests are going to look like. That's why we have a commission, which the president launched this week. But we're going to, we're going to make sure, listen, right now, the average American kid is spending 7 hours in front of his screen a day. Mm-hmm. And the purpose of this is to make sure that kids get outdoors, make sure that kids have physical activity. It's absolutely critical. And I'm not sure exactly what the path is for achieving that, but we know what our objective is. Everybody wants our kids to get up. And, it contributes to this sedentary lifestyle is contributing to the malaise, the spiritual malaise that we have in this country, the emotional and depressive state that so many of our kids are in. You need to get out, do competitive sports, work with teamwork, work with other kids, try to make it exciting for everybody, and try to make it enjoyable. We need our kids up, move a muscle, change a thought. If you want to get out of a bad mood, go out and do something physical.
Right on. Very well said, RFK Jr. Very well said. Now, how are you going to implement the test? How are you really going to make it happen? I mean, listen, that's a question we can ask, but you need to do something. You can't just do nothing, because the problem is just getting worse. It's getting worse and worse, and that's going to lead to a lot of adults who are not going to be capable of doing the work necessary to move our country forward. As we get more into AI, technology, a lot of the easier tasks are not going to be required to be done by human hands. So you need to do the harder tasks. And how are we going to do that with a bunch of these marshmallows, that's 14 years old and already 300 pounds? That's not really going to make it happen. So he's right on point. Now, here they are on TMZ talking about the test. Now, you already know what they're going to say, but I just want to see what they got going on here.
Donald Trump is bringing back the presidential fitness test.
This is really interesting.
that in 1966, Lyndon Johnson started the Presidential Fitness Council. It lasted until 2012. Obama changed it.
He wanted to make it not about fitness, but more about health.
How can we say this is a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. Look.
Not a bad thing at all. Not in the least bit.
All this is it puts it out in the public again that we're interested in kids being fit. There's nothing wrong with that.
Also, I think if Trump's going to reinstate this, he should have to pass it himself.
Yeah.
That was a very common comment I saw in a lot of these threads. Oh, he's got to pass it. Trump's 80 years old. The question is, can your 14-year-old son pass it? That's the actual question, because he should be able to pass it. But Trump is 80 years old, so I don't expect him to pass it. All right, so there we go. So yeah. And you know, the funny part, he probably could pass it for real, but a lot of people couldn't. Now look, hold on. Can I show you guys this? Wait a minute. Let me just show you this article right quick. New York Times. This right here is part of the problem with softness in our country. I wouldn't even, this appears to be an opinion piece. Is it an opinion piece? They don't even say opinion on it. That's crazy. It's just a regular article. All right, so watch this. So here's a real article, New York Times. It says, for some, return to presidential fitness test revives painful memories. It's like, really? Is that what we're going to say? Generations of Americans who struggled to complete a pull-up in front of their classmates winced as President Trump announced that he was reinstating the annual assessment. Well, look, you know what? Maybe if you couldn't do a pull-up in front of your classmates, that'd be great motivation to get better, to try to accomplish something more than what you got going on. Sometimes it takes that level of embarrassment to improve. What's happening now is we want to try to protect kids and people in general from embarrassment, and there's never any improvements made. Okay, so you didn't have the embarrassment when you're not able to do a pull-up in front of your classmates, but you also don't have any kind of achievement. You also are 300 pounds at age 13. So there's always going to be trade-offs. You got one thing that you wanted, which was to save the embarrassment, but you got something else you didn't want, which was you 400 pounds now at age 19, get ready to try to go into the job market. What you going to do with that size at that age? You see? So it's always going to be pros and cons to everything in life. But I think you should go with what makes someone a more well-rounded person and more marketable and more desirable in the job market, rather than just trying to cater to their feelings. See, that's that softness that I talk about quite a bit. Speaking about soft, some people got offended at Sydney Sweeney and her jeans. Okay. Now they have responded, speaking about American Eagle. They say Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. Quote, that's the name of the commercial. Is and always was about the jeans. Her jeans, her story, meaning the denim, the pants she has on. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their AE jeans with confidence, their way. Great jeans look good on everyone, okay? That's what they said. That's their statement, because people were mad, and some of y'all didn't know why they were mad. So listen, the first commercial came out, and she's talking about I have good genes, passed down from mother to father, mother to child, father, whatever, passed down from your family members, from your mom and daddy to you. Now, some said because she's white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, that's like eugenics, because back in 1945 Germany, the funny mustache guy was talking about the Aryan master race and wanted everybody to be blonde-haired, blue-eyed, all this, that, and the third. So if you are a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person, you must be talking about the funny mustache guy. You must be trying to be funny and bring that back up, which is silly because you're going to put her in the prison forever to always be conscious about what someone did that has zero to do with her. What's Germany in 1945 got to do with Sydney Sweeney? Okay, let's watch some of this.
Hi, I'm Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I can work as a local hire as well, though, and I'm available for the American Eagle jeans campaign shoot.
Profile and hands, please. Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Sydney Sweeney has great jeans.
Now, some of y'all were asking, well, I saw a comment Matter of fact, hold on. That another video because there were some questions about the jeans. Why are the jeans so big? Listen, the jeans are big like that because that's the style. That's what the young people are wearing. That's like what we did back in the day. The Jinkos, all of that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Jinko jeans that would be so big, you'd be dragging the ground. It'd be the bottom would be all tore up, which was a remix of the bell bottoms they had in the 70s. The bell bottoms, it was like that. At the bottom, it was flared out, but they were tight in the leg. We come along in the 90s and early 2000s, and we had the Jinkos, which was like bell bottoms, but they were big jeans. So now the young kids today, they see what we wore back then and they're remixing it. Now the girls are wearing the Jinkos that the guys would wear. So it's just style coming back in a different form. 70s, it was the bell bottoms that were tight in the leg, that would flare out at the bottom. 90s, 2000s, it was the Jinkos that were just big jeans that the men would wear, that the guys would wear. I had Jinkos back in the day. I sure did. Messing with them white boys, I had some Jinkos. And then now, 2025, you got young kids of all races wearing the big pants that we wore. And I see it as like a gender neutral thing. I'm seeing guys and girls wear jeans like that. The real big jeans. And also, since Kendrick Lamar came out there with the bell bottoms, which were completely girly, I think he had on some girl jeans. But anyway, since he came out, now we got adults wearing suits with no hem on the bottom. I'm like, what is this? We're like 50 years old. Steve Harvey, why are you wearing a suit with no hem on the bottom? I don't understand. But that's just style. Paco, I had the Paco, yep. The Paco jeans, yep. The Pacos, the Jinkos, all of that. Yep. Bugle Boys. Oh, we had all of that. Everything. Yep. Hefty Joe says, a lot of the current fashion reminds me of the 80s. Yeah. I see a lot of 80s, but definitely I'm seeing 90s for sure. I'm seeing 90s all day long. I saw a picture and it's like, okay, a Billie Eilish. I know I'm not going to be able to find it. Okay, Google search Billie Eilish. I'm only going to get a few million pictures, but anyway, she had on like an outfit that I would have wore back in like 1999, listening to DMX and my headphones on the school bus when I'm like 15 years old. That's just what they do. So, hey, it worked. They sold out of them jeans, the big jeans, little jeans, whatever. Okay. Now, here is a response to Sydney Sweeney for one of my favorite types of people, the upset white liberal woman. Love them. These guys are great. Okay. Let's go ahead and watch.
Bad that we're seeing the reactions to the whole Sydney Sweeney American Eagle jeans ad is such a like poignant metaphor for this place that we're in right now in the United States culturally and politically, because on one side you have this group that probably would like Trump's ball for breakfast that's like, oh, America's so back, baby, like woke is dying, the libs are losing, and then there's the rest of us that are like, this is really concerning, this is actually thinly veiled propaganda for eugenics, and if you don't see that, it doesn't take a genius to realize that marketing is always intentional and this is much deeper than an ad for denim. It's giving Mein Kampf core, and just because you don't have the critical thinking skills to recognize it doesn't mean it's not happening.
All right. It's giving Mein Kampf core, guys, okay? It's giving Mein Kampf core. You guys are just too dumb to understand. It's giving like, really, is that what we're doing? It's giving Mein Kampf core. It's like, hey, put TikTok down for 2 seconds and breathe. It's not that serious. You could see it like they're trying to be funny about eugenics and the white man. You could see it like that if you want to, but is it really that deep? Is it that serious? What I saw was a pretty young lady wearing some jeans doing a commercial. That's what I saw. The kind of marketing that has always worked. Pretty girl, product, boom, it sells. Imagine that. Imagine how difficult that is. It's not difficult at all. You know, what the left have done for quite a while is put unattractive people on their ads and try to sell things that way. They're trying to appeal to the common man, but that's not how you do it. You want to have an idealized version of a human to sell a product. Okay, we're talking about sales guys, sales girls. They're going to look good. They're going to present themselves well, and they're going to be able to speak well to sell you whatever the product is. I've done sales before. I know how it goes. I've done sales all my life. It's real. That's the way it's going to be. If I'm in front of you looking like, what's your man, Umar Johnson, dirty headband, big fat, crumbs in the beard, all this, that, and the third. If I'm not personable, if I'm not cracking jokes, then it's like, why would I listen? I'd rather watch paint dry. So yeah, that's marketing if you want to really get into it. It's not about you. And you know what? You know what's funny? Maybe they understood that if they did that, someone like you might get offended and they're going to generate revenue from that as well. But the majority of people are only going to see pretty girl wearing jeans. That's all they're going to see. That's all that really matters. What you're talking about doesn't really matter. It is what it is. So yeah, shout out to her. Hey, you got all the, you got the septum, you got everywhere. You know what I want to do when I see that kind of, the hoops, the septums, me just like get like a little, me just get like a little thread or something connected all together. That's what I want to do. Yeah, that'd be fun. So yeah, shout out to her. I get it, but it ain't really that deep. Okay. Now here's a funny video. This is really funny because you have someone, I'm not quite sure. She says she's white. Okay. Liberal from California. And she's talking about how she doesn't feel comfortable in the room if there are no other people of color. Again, she does not feel comfortable in the room if there are no other people of color. Let's watch this.
I'm a white person. If I'm in a room full of white people, I feel very uncomfortable. Something's wrong. Something is very, very wrong. Especially because, like, I grew up in San Francisco, the Bay Area. Now I live in Sacramento. If there's not black or brown people, bro, this is like a bad event. This is not safe. This is not a safe event. There's not like a person of color. There's not an Asian person there. If there's not a mixed person, we're at a Mormon event. It's religious. Like, I'm sorry, but I actually, I understand where she's coming from. And, let's be very honest. That was very tone deaf in this time when we're actively doing eugenics in America, hard. Not that we've ever not been doing them, but right now we're really doing it hard. It's just not the right time to be telling people that you love being around white people. It's a little weird. And as a white person, I'm going to...
All right, there's a lot there. Listen, it's okay. Listen, it's okay. Whatever you are, you could be black, white, Puerto Rican, and Canadian stripe. It's okay. It's totally fine. You don't have to be like, oh, it's weird to want to be around. Listen, whatever you want to do, freedom of association. You want to go with the whites, the blacks, the Puerto Rican, the Canadian stripe, whatever. It's totally fine. I don't see the problem. I mean, but I get where she's coming from because people like that have been told, they've been brainwashed to believe a certain kind of way. They've been groomed to be a certain kind of way. I watched one video. I don't know where it's at. I can't find it. But it was one video where the girl was talking about the same kind of thing. And she was citing books that she had read when she was in school. I'm like, there go the problem right there. So you're being brainwashed. You're being told things. You're being told to read things. And you think those things are true. You think those things are infallible. When in reality, you're just reading propaganda and believing that as a fact. So yeah, shout out to her. Okay. Now my man right here, I'm not sure what his name is, but over in UK, a transformer is using the bathroom with the women and they don't like it and he's mad at them.
I was attacked using the female lavatory facilities in Portcullis House when attending a session of the Women and Equalities Select Committee. I'm Robin White. I'm a barrister in independent practice, and on the 11th of June I had attended a session of the Women and Equality Select Committee, and at the end of that session I needed to use the lavatory. I checked with the parliamentary staff whether it was appropriate for a trans woman to use the female facilities. They said it was, and yet in using them I was attacked by Kate Harris of the LGB Alliance, Heather Binning of the Women's Rights Network, who loudly and unpleasantly objected outside the facilities to my using them, carried on doing that when I went inside to the point where they could be heard through the door, which put me in a very humiliating and frightening situation. It left me white, shaking, really concerned about how welcome I was on the parliamentary estate. This is the first time ever that I've ever been attacked for just going about my normal business.
Okay, now look, look. Let me stop you right there. Let me just stop you right there, boss. Just because you asked some people if you could go in the bathroom does not mean the women in there are going to be cool with that. Okay, you got to ask them. And I'm willing to bet 99.99% of actual biological women, real women, are not going to want you in the bathroom with them. Why must you invade their personal space, bro? Why? You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but at the end of the day, you're a man, you're a male. That's what you are. Leave them in their own personal space be. You don't got to be in there. Nah, man, listen, and anybody trying to hear, look, you, sir, are not a victim, okay? You are an aggressor. You're going into a space where you're unwelcome because it's women there. They don't want men there. And like I said before, if you allow Transformers to be in the bathroom with women, some think, oh, it'd be Blair White, somebody you can't even really tell, which Blair White, I don't know. But anyway, some of y'all can't tell, but I see what's going on. Anyway, they think that's what it's going to be. But in reality, it'd be Miss Doubtfire right here. Okay? It'd be Miss Doubtfire in the bathroom, 6'3", chest, heavy breathing, CPAP machine breathing, all on your back. Okay, it'll be him. I'm going to the laboratory. No, sir, you're going out of the laboratory. Go to your own laboratory. So, nah, man, I think at a certain point, we're done with all that. And the women themselves are the ones saying, you know what? No more. We're done. We're finished. We are finished. So, yeah, shout out to y'all. Now, we got a testimony right here from an ER nurse. This is pretty important. An ER nurse is talking about, matter of fact, she's an ER nurse in LA, and she's talking about how empty the ER has become ever since all the illegal aliens have got up out of here. Let's watch this. Let's get some sound and let it rock.
Just got off my 12-hour shift at one of LA County's easiest hospitals and ERs. And you guys, our waiting room is just empty, like 4 patients max, like every hour. And as much as a healthcare worker enjoys a slow day, it's actually pretty scary. Like, I know that a lot of patients are just scared to seek medical care right now, and it's just really sad, the circumstances that we are in right now. And it just scares me for the results of this after, because a lot of patients are going to hold off to not seek medical care, and they're going to come back 10 times sicker. And I just want to urge anybody who has any family members who are experiencing any serious symptoms to encourage them to seek medical care. Hospitals are supposed to be safe spaces, and we are there to protect our patients and care for them regardless of who they are, and where they come from. So this is just a PSA. Please, please, please educate anybody who is scared to seek medical care to seek it if necessary.
All right, there we go. So what do y'all think? Do y'all think people are not coming in because they're afraid, because of the federales, ICE, whatever? Or have they just returned back to the country of origin? Maybe it's a combination of both, but check it out. You see, if you're here legally, if you're not violating the law, there ain't nothing to worry about. You have nothing to worry about. Go ahead and go to the hospital. You could be whatever color you want to be, whatever country you want to be from, as long as you're here legally, as long as you didn't come here illegally. And I don't like those who want to make excuses for those who came here illegally, because if I do something wrong, if I do something illegal, I'm held accountable. And that's fine. I have no problem with that. That's why I don't break the law. That's why I don't go out here and do things that are illegal. If you're doing things that are illegal, you get whatever comes to you. That's your fault. And you knew that when you came to the country illegally. You knew it was going to be a risk. Now the risk has increased. So that was a gamble you made. That was a choice you made. It's not my problem. It's not my fault that you made that decision for yourself. So shout out to y'all, man. Hopefully everybody be all right. You know what I mean? Hopefully y'all going to WebMD and figuring something out. But you know what I mean? That's pretty much where I'm at. Now, my man right here appears to be a very smart person talking about what's happening in California. Let's go ahead and check this out.
I'm thinking about moving. In fact, I'm thinking about shutting down my business.
Hold on. I think we got just, okay. Sorry, it was a little bit loud because I had it just in one ear, so I couldn't really hear it. So RIP to the TV users, perhaps?
I'm thinking about moving. In fact, I'm thinking about shutting down my business because there's only so much I can take.
The owner of Shobu Japanese Cuisine says he's had enough dealing with vagrants and homelessness around his business.
This is my patio right here. At night, after we close, they will come and they will camp in there. And when I get here, I would have to chase them away.
Vang says he doesn't want to do that, but homelessness has become a burden on his restaurant and along Blackstone Avenue.
I came from a very poor background. I came out as a refugee from Thailand. And I know what it's like to be poor, to be hungry. But our politicians need to open their eyes and need to really address these issues because it's affecting the business owners on this street.
The Blackstone Merchants Association president, AJ Rasamni, says the city of Fresno isn't helping business owners.
I read that the city passed an ordinance called blighted buildings. That means if you have a building that's all boarded up and they're testing that in Tower District, they're gonna give a notice to the property owner to fix it.
I reached out to the city and have not heard back yet, but Rasamni says businesses are boarding up and moving out to avoid break-ins.
The tenant there, Jeb's Blueberry, they've been broken in. The business was broken in on a regular basis, so they moved to Clovis.
One business falling victim to break-ins, All Access Automotive.
11 cars were vandalized, all the windows were broken. The only thing he got out of them was whatever was in the cup holders and the spare change. This cost me roughly about $7,000.
Boznuni says the homeless population needs real help, not handouts.
They don't need help. They need to get less help because the more quote unquote help they get, really any kind of help they get is a handout. That's the reality.
We have also unmarked vehicles from certain organizations showing up on my private property and feeding these people when they're loitering on my property.
It's all part of what Rasamni describes as a growing issue.
We need to have safety, and the safety is going to start by removing the homeless people from the street.
I'm thinking about...
All right, so first of all, one thing I noticed right there is that all these guys appear to be immigrants, all of them. They appear to be immigrants, but they're here legally. They are here legally. They're doing the right thing. These guys are the guys that I like a lot. You're here legally, doing the right thing, contributing to society. That's what I like. You're contributing, doing the right thing, keep on rocking. Legally. It's the illegal aliens I got a problem with, not my man from Thailand or man right here. I don't know where you from, somewhere Middle East somewhere. I don't know. Wherever they came from, they come here legally and they're conducting business legitimately. That's what I'm talking about. And the homeless problem, my man said it right there, talking about you got these unmarked cars coming by and feeding them on his property because they get paid to do that. That's their hustle. That's their whole game. They get this so-called grant money. A lot of that comes from the feds, USA, all of that. They get that money to go out there and do that. That's their whole service. That's how they make money. So they could just enable homelessness and leave that area and go to their neck of the woods up in the hills somewhere, living high on the hog. That's the game in California. That's the game with a lot of these so-called NGOs, social services, etc. You see? So yeah, the only help you can do for a homeless person is provide employment. And a lot of these people, they don't want to work. I see them all the time over in Chattanooga, Hamilton Place. That's where all the stuff is, all the commerce, a lot of shops and whatnot. Everything is right there. It'd be homeless people that you always see every day. And there's help wanted signs everywhere. Help wanted signs everywhere. You got migrants in there working. You get elderly in there working. But the homeless somehow can't get a job. I've seen it to where some of these establishments will close early or open late because they're understaffed. And right next to it, it'd be somebody on the ground sleeping. It's like, it's not about there not being enough jobs. It's not about nothing. They want to be outside. They want to smoke crack and all that all day long. It is what it is. Okay. Now look, we got a homeless encampment out there in San Fran. I ain't gonna show too much, but a little bit.
Having tents on the streets of San Francisco, practically a thing of the past. Things have improved dramatically, but that does not mean that the homeless situation has actually improved that much. The mayor said there's still a lot of work to be done.
I got a question. If you're out there in San Francisco or anywhere nearby, hold on, let me see if I can catch that frame. Okay, so would this be like in an area where you have tourists, where there's any kind of commerce going on? Where is this area at? Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not trying to walk on the sidewalk that's shared with people's tents. I'm good on that, because I don't want nobody to try to like pop out of their tent with some kind of instrument or throw a crack pipe at me. I'm not trying to smell meth smoke, crack smoke, or nothing like that on my journey to my destination.
Not mean that the homeless situation in a box,
Yeah.
in a cardboard box, and is now refusing to leave and has been refusing.
Right. This is not your typical box, actually. We saw it, and actually it resembles like something that you would put a body in. Yeah.
California, can y'all please get it together? Please. Like, what is going on in the Golden State? Can y'all please tighten up? Oh, what about the migrants? One more. I almost forgot. So, have you guys been hearing that Jet 2 holiday meme on TikTok? Some of y'all been playing it. Some of your kids been playing it. I try to stay away from the memes as much as possible. But the White House, they kind of leaned into the whole meme, and they connected the Jet 2 holiday meme on TikTok to deportations. Okay? So let me just go ahead and play it right quick, and RIP in advance to the headphone users. All right, let's go ahead and rock.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. Book now with Jet 2 holidays. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
I love it. I love it. Hey, shout out to President Trump. Shout out to the White House team. They actually put that out on the official White House social media pages. I love it. Hey, get you a nice, good holiday right back in your country of origin and don't come back. Hey, a permanent holiday. Hey, and then this part right here at the end with the beautiful. So, yeah. Shout out President Trump. Shout out to the whole team over there. Y'all doing amazing work. And this whole issue with the migrants was my chief issue throughout the whole campaign. So whatever they put out that is doing what I want, I'm with it. Oh man, I love it. So yeah. Hold on. Billy John says, I agree that it's right to deport some people, but taking pleasure in it is weird. Why is it weird? Why is it weird? Why? Why is it weird to solve a problem that we have been facing as a nation and take pleasure in the problem being solved? Why is that a weird thing to do? Maybe you soft. Maybe somebody you know got deported. I mean, look, it is what it is. Look, I know guys that got locked up all the time. I know a lot of guys that's in jail. That don't mean that if someone gets locked up, I'm going to just start crying tears. It's like, well, the guy I know or the guys I know that got locked up, they knew what they were doing. It's their fault. They accept responsibility. They accept accountability. And now those who are being deported, they are the same. And it was a problem that was not just affecting one person. It wasn't just one person did a crime against one person. It was the migrant crisis affected the whole country. Everybody was affected by this. So you know what I'm celebrating? I'm celebrating us not having to spend $450 billion per year on these people. So you absolutely right. I'm gonna celebrate. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. All right, now Bill, not a chemical engineer guy, talking about NPR, PBS, all that kind of good stuff being defunded, which is a thing that is good in my humble opinion. But let's see what he says.
Administration is trying to use these rules or laws, which were clearly, in my opinion, clearly never intended to be used this way, to derail the will of Congress. And so they're using these, apparently they're planning to use this business of impoundment of funds and this extraordinary new legal theory, pocket rescission. And there's no such thing, they're making it up. And the irony is that the communities that are going to be most affected by curtailing public broadcasting are the rural communities that voted for this administration. And I just, as one example, I have met countless people, that is to say, more people than I can count, who came to this country from other parts of the world and tell me that they learned to speak English by watching public broadcasting, by watching my show, by watching Sesame Street. And one of the ideas of this administration, which is nominally quite reasonable, is to make English the official language. Well, if you want people to learn English, you want to have public broadcasting. This is just an ironic mess up on their part.
So, okay, now look, do you guys think that a Bill Nye the Science Guy is influential right now, 2025, with teaching people how to read, all that kind of stuff, or learn English? Listen, Bill Nye the Science Guy was popular when I was a little boy, like early 90s, mid 90s, like middle school really was when he was jumping in elementary school for me. And I'm 40, I'll be 41 next month. So that show ended back in the 90s. So who are they running reruns of Bill Nye the Science Guy? Is that what's happening? So when you say that they watch your program to learn English, we talking about new arrivals? We talking about those that were in the 90s? Like, let's make it make sense. See, a lot of what they talk about when they say NPR, PBS, etc., it's they're resting on their laurels. You living in the past. What have you done for me lately is the question. What have you done for me lately? And the answer is not much or nothing. So why should we continue to fund you? Because this is the federal government, which means it's our money. It's our taxpayer money. So why should we be able to fund you? I feel like at a certain point, if it's our money, we got a right to say something. And if someone hears our cries, then fantastic. Why would anybody be against that? I know a guy like Bill Nye would be against it because that, that's where that's a personal thing for him. But your personal issue should not necessarily be my issue. Okay? So that's what that is. Now listen. This is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting right here. So look, AI, automation, whatnot, it's real. Now, this is a virtual desk, a virtual check-in desk at a hotel. All right. And the guy's in India. Imagine that.
Okay.
You need 1 room key or 2 room keys?
2, just in case I lose one.
Yes, I'll just make 2 keys for you. Just help me with your signature, what it says guest signature. Let me just process your room registration.
Please wait while we process your registration form. Please note that we have a strict policy of no smoking, no pets, and no visitors allowed in any of our guest rooms. Signature must match the one on your ID. Using your finger, please sign where it says guest signature when you see the form on the screen.
All right, sir. I will just process your room receipt, which contains all the property.
All right, so there we go. Now, this is pretty interesting. I can't say I'm surprised. During C-19, I experienced something like this. Let me explain. So during C-19, I am building my house, and they had model houses in the front. And at the model house, sometimes they weren't there. Or actually, I'll put it to you like this. At the model house, they had this machine that you could speak with to take you on a tour. I forget the way it was, but there was a machine at the front you had to talk to. And I think the machine had somebody live on the other end, just like this, because you couldn't have people actually right there. So the machine would kind of help you with the tour of the home or the model home to see what's what. So I've already seen this before, and it's kind of a simple setup. It's just a webcam and a tablet, or a couple webcam right there, maybe one right there, and a tablet. Easy setup. It'd be a guy over in India in his house with a suit on, or a suit tie and a shirt and a tie, and that's it. And the only humans that's going to be there are going to be the housekeepers, and that's it. Maybe it'd be somebody in there with their kitchen. You could get food and stuff like that. Probably not at this hotel. It's kind of small. I can see. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, it might be a kitchen in there, maybe. But there's no need for a front desk person. Now, one thing that I've noticed or that I've heard is that a lot of migrants are used for that kind of work. Front desk hotel. They say they got a hard time being able to find employees. So, okay, rather than just getting the migrants, let's just outsource it to India. And ultimately, that whole process might be automated. There might not be a need for an actual human being there at all. But what do y'all think? Is that going to be the way of the future? Dude over in India with his suit jacket on or whatnot, just talking at you? Is that the way of the future? Y'all let me know. He's in the kitchen in India? Yeah, sure, for sure. Absolutely. He's in the kitchen and the bedroom all at the same time. Is he wearing pants? You know he's not. You know he's not. He's wearing basketball shorts at best. Basketball shorts at best. Okay, let's keep on going here. Now, here's something else. This is going to be an automated roofing machine. Okay, let's watch this. Okay, let's go ahead. Here we go.
Shingle with AI. So watch, it's gonna move.
I'm sorry from the top.
This shingle with AI. So watch, it's gonna move, it's gonna pause. It takes a picture, it runs that through our AI model. It's the only AI model that's ever been trained on real roof to install with a robot. And then it's gonna know exactly where it's supposed to be placed based on certainties, manufacturer specification. The team on the ground sees that image today. They confirm, yes, it's exactly where it's supposed to be. Then it's gonna nail it. And then we use all of that data, we train all of that data so that 6 months from now, you don't need a team on the ground actually confirming that the shingle's in the right spot and it's going to be autonomous. This shingle with AI.
So there it is. They got an automatic roofing machine. Tasks like this that are kind of repetitive. Okay, pick this thing up, put this thing down, pick this thing up, staple it, nail it, glue it, whatever. They have automatic bricklaying machines. They have a lot of things in factories that can build cars because a lot of the process of building the car is automated. It's just you taking this piece, making it go here, that piece go there, making everything tighten together. Maybe it'd be a couple guys in the actual factory making sure everything is going right, and that'd be it. And then of course it'd be guys that are servicing the machines. But as far as you having to be on the roof doing that at a certain point, maybe in the future, that won't be a thing. Now, I put my video out about the guy talking about, well, AI might take my HVAC job. HVAC, plumbing, stuff like that is a little bit different than this because this is just a task, a repetitive motion. Okay, you're just putting down these shingles and you nailing it to the wood. That's all you're really doing. That's a repetitive task. But to actually get up on somebody's house, to go out there and deal with some electrical stuff and diagnose a problem and being able to fix it and being able to maneuver certain things around is more complicated than just doing a manual task like that. So the trades are good if you have a task that is difficult to automate. That's what I would say. A more heady type of thing. If it gets to the point where these machines can do things that humans have always done with their hands, that's kind of complicated, that requires service, then at that point, it's like you're going to have a hard time for humanity to find a way in there. That's what I would say. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen that. They got 3D printed houses. I've seen the 3D printed houses, but you still got a team on deck. You're still going to have guys. You're still going to have guys that work. Even if there's like an autonomous machine, the machine got to get service. The machine going to break. The machine going to have power. The machine going to need X, Y, and Z. There's all kind of things that the machine's going to need. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a whole industry that's dedicated to servicing the machines. You got these big AI centers and whatnot. Like a lot of that is still going to require a human touch. So I don't think that we're going to be taken over by. I don't see Skynet or whatever. I don't see Terminator happening no time soon. So I think we're good, at least for now. Okay. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. Now, what do I want to play first? Okay, let's do it this way. All right. California prices. What's going on with your prices at places like KFC? Now, I would not recommend going to KFC to eat, but if you're going to go there, you guys are paying an arm and a leg and your firstborn child for some KFC. Okay, let's watch this right here. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna turn the sound down. I don't want to have no copyright. Let me just show this. So look at these prices. 3-piece chicken. Oh, 5-piece tenders, $19.99, $20. Wait a minute. Wait. So 5-piece tender and includes 2 sides, a medium drink, and a biscuit for $19.99 just for a 5-piece tender with 2 sides and the drink and the biscuit. Okay, and then what else? And you can see it right there. Now, that does not look very appetizing, but some of y'all gonna love that with the Mountain Dew to go with it. Hey, the Mountain Dew to go with it. Wash it down. Okay. And then let's look at some of the other ones. Chicken sandwich and nuggets, 5 nuggets, and side and the drink, $13.99. And then let's look up here. 3-piece chicken, $15.99. I mean, these prices are out of control at a drive-through. So when people say, oh, it's too expensive to eat fresh produce, ABL, is it? Or are you just too lazy to cook? Is that what's going on? Because I can get a meal, a nice, hearty, healthy meal for a lot less than $20 by going to the store and getting fresh produce. I sure can. I sure 100% can. And guess what? I'm not going to be inundated with a bunch of sodium, sodium, sugar, terrible ingredients, carcinogens, high fructose corn syrup. I'm going to have a nice, healthy, scrumptious meal, and I won't break the bank to do it. I will not break the bank to do it. But yeah, KFC, don't do that. Don't go there. All right, that's not really where you want to be at all. All right, so we got some rent going up here. Now, she lives in Chicago. She has a 426 square foot apartment in downtown Chicago. How much do you think she pays in rent? How much you think she pays now versus what she paid previously, like a year ago, 2 years ago? Again, downtown Chicago, 426 square feet. What is she paying for rent? You let me know in the comments, but let's go ahead and watch this.
I'm not gonna believe how much they're increasing our rent. We just got the renewal letter. You guys, we live in a 426 square foot studio apartment in downtown Chicago. And our rent, this year was $2,108. The previous year, it was $1,930. They want to increase it to $2,649. That's over $500 increase. I have no words. Like, where did they come up with this number? I mean, we had already made up our mind that we're not going to stay in the studio anyways. We are going to move and look for a new place. Hopefully starting next week, we're going to start touring apartments. But over $500 increase for a 426 square foot studio apartment. I think this is because a new company apparently bought the building because we have new owners now. Like, we got a letter, I don't know, a couple of months ago that they are taking over the building. So yeah, I think that's why the prices are increasing this much.
Okay, so for you guys in Chicago, in the area, is that a good price? Is that a bad price? Because when I hear downtown, big city like Chicago, I expect her to pay more, to be totally honest with you, because if that's in New York City, $2,000 is nothing. Actually, that's not that bad. I mean, I would not pay that because you living in the shoebox kind of a little teeny bit for that much money. But downtown Chicago, I would expect for it to be that much. So what do y'all think? Is that a lot? Is that a little? Would the pay in a place like Chicago justify such rent? Y'all let me know. Yeah, 400 square foot though. I mean, good grief. You must really love living in Chicago, right downtown. I would live a little bit further out and just commute in. I'm not going to be paying that much for a shoebox. Okay. Thank you, Bald Tire. Yeah, 460 square foot, not 4,600. 460 square foot. So a 400 square foot spot for $2,000 a month in downtown Chicago. Less than you expect. For me, I thought it would be more in Chicago. If you're living in a smaller city and downtown, paying that much for a 400 square foot spot would be ridiculous. But downtown Chicago, I feel like that kind of makes sense. Matthew says a lot where I'm from. The commute, that's something else. You're probably paying for the convenience of living downtown. You could just pretty much live where you work. You're living in a small spot, but you're not having to commute from far away. Ryan V says 40 minutes out west is $2,000 to $3,000 for a condo. That's better. That's better than the 400 square foot apartment. But you got the 40-minute commute plus your traffic time. Observer says 476 square foot outside of Seattle, 1,050. Well, see, that right there is much better. But you're outside of Seattle. You're not inside the actual city. Now, how much would that same apartment be, the same size and everything, how much would it be in Seattle, like right in the heart of the city? How much would it be? Okay, so we got a street interview. They're talking about lawyers. How much do they make? Okay. And there's different types of lawyers, and they're all over the place. I think they might have been in Atlanta in this one, DC, a little bit of everywhere.
Student. What did you do before that? I was a legislative director in the Texas House of Representatives. How much did you make? $50,000.
I'm a legal assistant.
How long have you been doing it?
About 2 years.
And how much do you make?
I make $55,000 a year.
I'm a legislative assistant for Congress.
Okay, how much do you make?
I make $82,000.
Worked at the DOJ. I was an assistant U.S. attorney for 2 years in D.C., and I made 73, and then you get locality pay, which was 20 something. It ended up being before taxes about 97 a year.
I am a self-employed attorney. I practice in the field of employment law. I mostly represent plaintiffs.
How much do you make?
Last year, I made about $100,000.
How long have you been doing it?
A few minutes. This is my 26th year as an attorney.
I actually work for the city of New York. I'm a legislative attorney, intergovernmental affairs.
How much do you make?
Oh my goodness, how much do I make right now? I just got a new job. So thank you, Pay Transparency. I think I'm making $115,000. I work for the city, so you can see everyone's pay scale online.
I'm an attorney. And how much do you make?
$134,000.
How many years of experience do you have?
8. I'm a lawyer.
Oh, how much do you make?
I make $215,000.
Okay, big money. Okay.
How long have you been doing it?
2 years.
I'm an attorney.
Attorney, and you're self-employed?
Yes, I am. I do criminal defense appointments in Kansas.
Now, this guy right here already know. I could tell by the outfit. He's going to be the biggest baller of all. I already know. I mean, if you go outside wearing that, I already know what time it is. Either you're going to be filthy rich or you're going to smoke crack. Nowhere in between, in my humble opinion.
Wonderful. And how much do you make on average?
That makes $120 an hour in Kansas.
There we go. So $234 a year. That's about what he makes. So yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the lawyers out there. Hey, it's big money. And that's just those who are, that's not even like the top guys. That's not Tony Busby, ambulance chaser, a famous ambulance chaser. How much you make? Hey, I went to the interview Tony Busby and also Ben Crump. Hey, you famous ambulance chaser guys, how much do you guys make on average every year? Okay. And does it kind of go with what's happening on social media? All right. Somebody gets beat by police. Somebody doesn't want to give life registration. They get pulled over, they get extracted. How much do you expect to make from those cases? Tony Busby, some black celebrity get caught up with some young white girl. How much is it going to cost for you to, what are you going to get from the settlement? Tell me that. Shannon Sharp, how much did you get from Shannon? Is he on the payment plan? That's what I want to know. But anyway, shout out to them. Okay, and this guy's from Brookfield. They are asset management company, and they're talking about how there's so many homes just for rent in the country, not for sale. All right, let me throw it on the screen right quick. And there we go.
Highest conviction is still in rental housing, and it's been for a while. And while that may not be completely contrarian, there's a chronic undersupply of housing across the world. Home ownership, as you know, in the U.S. is really out of reach for most people. So people will continue to be renters for longer, and that means apartments, single-family rental, student housing, all the forms of rental housing are really interesting. But what we have seen in that sector is a real repricing that happened as interest rates moved up. We saw a real repricing of those assets. So today there's an ability to buy them from sellers that have to get liquidity, that can't handle their debt maturities. Values have come down, and so we can buy at attractive values and lean into what we think is really good fundamentals. Our highest conviction.
So you can buy at a low price, and then it makes sense for you in your rental scheme. But for me, look, I understand because it's hard, because the prices of these properties are so high, it's difficult to own. And it is what California's been experiencing for a long time. California, owning a home over there, is hard. I mean, they talking about $500,000 for the hood, East LA. You talking about bars on the window, $500,000. So you want to live in a desirable place that you're going to raise kids and whatnot. It's difficult to be able to afford in a place like LA. And that kind of thing is happening in a lot of parts of the country. Not quite to the extent of Los Angeles, but, you know, a lot of apartments and a lot of just rental single-family homes are being brought up. Now, here's an example. I'm not sure where this is, but you can see the sign right here. Oh, this is Charlotte. This is in Charlotte, North Carolina, okay? So, look, you see it right there. The caption says, owning a home may no longer be an option for you.
Well, take a look at this. Remember when we were sharing that big institutions were seeking to purchase millions of single-family homes and turn them into rentals, making it harder and harder for families to be able to afford housing options, reducing the supply of available single-family homes and land for those individuals who were looking to purchase homes? Well, here it is. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we have a community that is solely for rentals. It's about 45 homes in these particular communities, and they will only allow you to rent these particular properties. Again, making it very difficult for those individuals who want to take on the dream of home ownership, making it very difficult for them. In the comments, I want you to share.
All right, I'm going to just stop here right there, but let's go back to the sign. So we're in Charlotte right here. It says now leasing 4-bed, 2.5-bath homes available to lease. Okay, just to lease. All right, just to lease. That's all we got going on. No purchasing of the home is even an option. So what do y'all think? Good thing, bad thing? I mean, for some it's going to be good because they can't come up with a down payment. Listen, buying a home is not cheap. It's not cheap. People talking about, well, it's better to rent or apartment. It's better to buy than to rent. No, not necessarily. Not all the time. That's the ideal. It's better in theory, yes, to buy rather than rent. But sometimes I see people that are not using the proper comparison. So they'll say, okay, you're paying $2,000 a month in rent. You could pay $2,000 in the mortgage. Well, it's not quite so simple. You can't just start paying a mortgage like you would start paying rent. With rent, all you got to do is just get approved for the spot you're moving into, move in. Maybe you pay your first and the last month's rent, and that's it. You're just paying rent. With a house, it's a whole different procedure. We're signing contracts, and we got mortgages, 30-year mortgage or down payment. You got to have a down payment usually. You got to have some cash. And if anything is going wrong with the home, any kind of problems, you got to call people to come to your house and you got to pay them. But if you are renting a home, you just call the rental company and they'll take care of it. It's different. So I personally prefer home ownership, but it's not cheap at all. So that's why you have in the rental only, because they understand that. They get that part of it. Okay, so now here we go. This is a comparison. You have $730,000 in Kauai, however I pronounce that, in Hawaii. and then the same price, 730 grand in Utah. Okay. So already from these pictures, there is really no comparison, but let's see what the video has to offer.
Aloha, what's up everybody? We got a fun comparison today for my Utah and Hawaii friends. Have you ever wondered what the very cheapest single family house for sale in Kauai is? Well, I'm going to show it to you right here. Located in Kopa'a, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 960 square foot.
3-bed, 2-bath, 960 square foot for 729,000 US American cold hard cash dollars.
You're on the east side of the island, probably 20 minutes to Target, Costco, Walmart, the airport. You are in one of the more populated, if not the most populated cities on the island. And this is the cheapest single family home, starter home, if you will, in Kauai. An important factor to look at is price per square foot. $760 is what you're getting this one for. Now we're going to compare that with Pleasant Grove, Utah. Same price, 730 grand, 7-bed, 3-bath, 3,300 square foot home.
You got a mansion. You got a McMansion. 7-bed, 3-bath, 3,300 square foot, $725,000 in Utah.
And remember price per square foot on the other one? Well, this one's 218. That gives it a little perspective. So that basically means for the same price, the house in Utah is 3.5 times larger than the house in Kauai. So what do you think? For 730 grand, would you rather live in this house in Pleasant Grove or the other one in Kauai? I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's just a preference thing.
I mean, look, obviously, location. Do you want to live in Hawaii or do you want to live in Utah? Now, shout out to Hawaii, but yeah, I'm good on having to pay that much for a home. And I'm sure it's kind of ramshackle because it was old. It was 1975. Have there been any updates to it? Is it been, like what's going on with the inside? Is it going to be a repair job? It might be. So you're paying $725 for a shell. You're paying $725 for a project. Meanwhile, the one in Utah is a lot newer. 1997, that was built. So it makes more sense. Yeah, Utah me on that one. Utah me all day long. If I got to pick between the two, clearly Utah. Pros and cons, obviously. If you're in Hawaii, you're in Hawaii. It's beautiful, paradise, whatever. You're in Utah, it can get cold, but that's fine because, hey, man, you got furnaces, you have air conditioning, you got whatever you need to combat the weather, so it's okay. No problem at all. Yeah, moldy old house for sure. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. All right, and there's no need to even really go too much further. Now, my man right here, this family sold 90% of their belongings, and now they live in a 250 square foot tiny home. 250 square foot tiny home. Let's check it out.
My wife and I sold 90% of our belongings, and nearly everything we own is now residing within our 250 square foot custom tiny house build that we did with a couple of sheds from Lowe's. And we're asked quite frequently, aren't we concerned about when we get older? Is living like this sustainable? Aren't you hoping to have a good life in your golden years, like in your late 60s and 70s? I don't know. But what I do know is that right now is good. Today was a good day. My wife and I sold 90%.
All right, so what do y'all think about that? You see the house right there in the back? Say they got it from 2 sheds. I mean, listen, if it works for them, it's fine. And when they get old, it'll be okay. As long as they got what they need, they get access, medical care, whatever, because you're in a 1-story thing. You're not dealing with stairs or nothing like that. So they'll be all right. They'll be totally fine. Actually, being out there in that kind of environment where it's low stress, where you kind of like close to nature in the country, that would, in my opinion, prolong your life. That'll prolong your life, in my humble opinion. Okay, because in my family, those that live in the country still be 1,000 years old and they fine. Those that kind of live in the more high stress environment, sometimes it's not quite that way. Okay, it's not quite that way. So yeah, I would do it. I would do that. Like, I don't really like living in the big house, to be totally honest with you. This house for me is a little bit too big. And matter of fact, hold on. Now, this is a little bit overpriced. 80 grand for this vehicle. But this right here, it's like an RV, right? You could drive it. I've seen these kind of things. I know people that live in stuff like this. If I was younger, I would most certainly live. Like, really, if I was younger, I would absolutely live in a vehicle like that. Now, maybe not so much, but if I had to, I would, and it wouldn't be a problem. I don't mind a small space because I'll be outside of the vehicle most of the time. I like to be able to park a vehicle like that in a place where I got a lot of space to just be outside. But let's just watch some of this. Again, this is 80 grand. Might be a tad bit overpriced, but let's check it out.
Look at this new little itty bitty thing for 2026. This is a Thor Geneva motorhome that fits inside of a parking space. Let's go take a look. Come on. This is the 2025 Thor Geneva 19 VT, small enough to fit in a parking space, as you can see here. This is a line that is exclusive with Blue Compass RV. I have a link to all of their 100 plus locations across the country in my bio on my page here if you want to take a look at that. But this is a really cool motorhome because it gives you so much versatility with being able to basically have no limitations with where you can park this thing as you're traveling around the country wherever you want to go.
I like that part, that it's nimble enough to park just in the regular space. I like that. That's a good feature. But $80,000, I don't know about that. Okay, I'd rather we get one of these big kind of behemoth looking situations rather than paying that much money. But let's keep on going. It's nice though on the inside. You'll see.
And a pretty nice interior layout as well. As we step inside here, if this were my motorhome, I would probably make this the primary bed up here. This is going to be about or even over a 7 foot long bed.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be right up there sleeping. Absolutely. 7 foot long. Yes.
Up there. So plenty of room to comfortably lay out. You have this flip up area here so you can easily get out of the driver's cab area when needed, and a ladder to get up onto this space. Also has outlets and USB ports around here on the corner, and you have some cup holders there with a shelf up on the front cap area. You have your TV that will swivel out on an arm right there, and it has a pretty traditional driver's cab. Nothing too special about this, as this is more of an entry-level motorhome. Going into the bathroom, it has a wet bath in here, but a huge skylight for a ton of ceiling height in here that is really impressive. See your sink there with the mirror, and that shower head sits up in the corner with the vent fan. And
the only thing about these kind of things is the bathroom setup. I really wouldn't want to be, I'd rather would have like a traditional bathroom or even the outhouse versus having to use that.
When I step in here, I mean, I'm 6'1" and I very easily fit in here, and that skylight will allow literally height for up to what looks like at least about probably 6'8" or 6'9". Then looking towards the back end of this motorhome, it has a U-shaped dining table here, so we have the table currently down so we can make that into a bed. A little bit of countertop space here with the flip-up additional room there, and then storage space throughout this area. Pretty decent. Obviously, it's a small motorhome, so you're working with what you got here. Has an 8,000 pound towing capacity on this though, so you could tow a trailer behind this if you want, or another vehicle. Drop these cushions down onto here. This will make a bed, again, that's going to be about 6.5 feet long for this bed area, so another spot to sleep. You have your seat belts here, so you can sit back in this area while you're going down the road, and you have lights up under the space, storage all the way around, and windows here all the way around as well to open up. Full body mirror there, closet space, and then a nice large 12-volt refrigerator. Look at how big that refrigerator is with very versatile adjustable shelving.
Hey, that's plenty big enough for me because my fridge stay empty, so it don't even matter. I put a few avocados in there and then I'll be good to go.
You can fit larger items in that space if needed. And then you have your TV that can swivel out so you can see it from back in this back portion of the motorhome. You also have pass-through storage here along the back, and it has a 4,000 watt generator behind that bumper with a backup camera installed.
So what do y'all think? $80,000, would you get one? I would live in a spot like that for sure. If I'm young, especially, I'm definitely living in a spot like that. Now I got one more of these to show. Another guy had a trailer. Okay, I think that might be the route that I'd want to do. I would do that right now. Like I would do that now. I got the truck, so I would do that right now if I had to, for sure. A trailer that makes a little bit more sense rather than having just all in one. The trailer would give you more space.
This trailer house of mine can be parked anywhere, but my monthly utilities look just about the same every month. Let's take a gander at what they look like. Let's start off with the electric bill. When you got yourself this many dang solar panels and a battery system to go with it, you're gonna be spending $0.00 on electricity most months. Next, what about the water bill? To be honest with you, I've been able to find free places with potable water every single week since I moved into this travel trailer. People be telling me that's dang near impossible, but I've been drinking the water without any dang issue. Scrumptious. So we're going to be taking off another $0.00 on our monthly utility. What about the trash bill, you ask? Well, I don't exactly have an address, so I don't exactly have garbage bin, so I don't exactly spend any money on my garbage utilities. I've pulled up to a couple dumps before, said I've got exactly one bag of family trash, and they just let me dump it for free. Never had an issue. The gas bill. Now, this is the one I do actually pay some amount of money for monthly. Round all the numbers out to filling out the propane tanks once a month.
That good old propane. Told you about that propane. You need that in your life.
Once a month, $25 a month. It would seem I almost forgot to mention the Wi-Fi cost. I happen to have myself a cellular solution, no Starlink to be found up in here, and that guy cost me $500 annually, which I'm pretty sure breaks down to about $40 a month, unless I'm an idiot.
All right, there we go. So that was like a breakdown of his expenses inside the trailer, although he didn't say how much the trailer costs. But yeah, that right there, the way you got it set up in there, that's a little bit more like it. You got some more space. You got a gas stove inside of there. Yeah, I like the trailer idea a lot. And of course, it's more gangly than the other motorhome, but it's fine. You get you a nice Walmart parking lot, something like that. You'll be good to go. You know what I see a lot? Where I would live, let me tell you where I would live. If I had to live like in a trailer, I would go to a Buc-ee's. I would go to a Buc-ee's because if I go to Buc-ee's late at night, I'll see guys in trailers in the parking lot. Because what you can do is just live right there. If you got to go get something to eat, if you want to use the bathroom for real, you can just go right there. They got bathrooms, the most beautiful bathrooms you've ever seen in your life, right there. If you need to, you want to take a shower or something like that, go find a gym or something, or you can shower right there in your trailer if you want to, if you can. But for your solids, hit the Buc-ee's. You right there. You need anything, any kind of supplies, the store is right there, and the parking lot is going to be safe. It's a 24-hour spot. It's always open, so you're good. You have police that are going to be around there all the time. So that's what I would do. If I had to live in a car, I would get a trailer like his, and I'd park it right at the Buc-ee's at night. And during the daytime, I'd just be all over the place. But at night, I come to Buc-ee's and park right there, sleep, get up in the morning, go back to work all day long. Wear and tear on the truck. Well, yeah, Matthew, but see, I would not be trying to move it that far all the time. Yeah, I wouldn't try to move it. I wouldn't try to be like moving it cross country or moving it a lot of miles a lot of time. Okay, so that's pretty much what it is. Drive to I ain't gonna read your name. Says a fifth wheel trailer would be best, but maybe most costly. Yeah, perhaps. Scott says it's so busy and loud, bathrooms would be worth it. Well, it depends on what time of the day you go. If you go on at nighttime, because my thought process is you park at the Buc-ee's at night. So if you go there at night, it's going to be pretty much chill. It's not that busy if you 11 o'clock at night. But during the daytime, yeah, it's going to be real busy and super loud. If you got social anxiety, it's going to be kind of a mess to go into a Buc-ee's. I personally enjoy it, but that's just me. All right. Do I have anything else here? I think that's pretty much it. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for rocking and rolling. We're going to get to the calls here in a moment. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. And before I get to those, I got super chats on deck. Let me read those right quick. Let me see. Where we at? Thank you to Val for becoming part of the ABL squad. I appreciate you. Thank you to Apple Bucker, I'll Puff Daddy, who says, Right Wing Angel put up an X post comparing AE jeans ad of Sydney Sweeney with jeans of ad featuring Beyonce. Will you kindly comment on that, ABL? Yeah, I saw that. It's like the AE jeans ad with Beyonce is fine because they don't think that it's about whiteness. It's only if you're a white woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, is there a problem? So anyone else is okay. And that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, how are you going to be held prisoner by what someone thinks because of your ethnicity, because of how you look? Because the funny mustache guy wanted blonde hair, blue eyed, Aryan master race back in 1940s Germany. So because that's what he wanted, if you represent that and you talk about your good genes, that's some kind of link back to him. That's ridiculous. It's unfair. It's crazy. But I'm glad that the wokesters didn't win. American Eagle sold out of their genes. It was a success, and they didn't back down. No apology. No apology required. Thank you to Apple again, who says, good genes, question mark, Jeans. I think an ad for jeans featuring Olympic sprinters and NBA, NFL athletes would be great. What say you, ABL? Too controversial? I say, hey, go ahead, knock yourself out. Why not? Let's do it. You know, because at the end of the day, people care less about some kind of intellectual message and more about attractive people wearing things that they might want themselves. That's all. Thank you to Gregor trying to says, go ahead, ABL, get him. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. Thank you to Apple again, who says, if PBS gets defunded, how will we watch Oscar the Grouch? Hey, they are going to be just fine. That's an actually profitable show as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know. So they'll be all right. They had Sesame Street on HBO. So they'll be just fine. And then plus you got on demand. You'll be able to find whatever you want at any time. Gregortron says, I still watch CBS. He says, I watch CBS, not CBS. There we go. Thank you for that. Apu says, to be fair, PBS was valuable to us old-time conservatives. Firing line with William F. Buckley Jr., the McLaughlin Group with John McLaughlin, Pat Buchanan, Robert Novak, Fred Barnes. We got it good. Yeah, way back in the day, but them days long gone, ain't they? Like, are these guys still living? Hold on. Is William F. Buckley still living? He probably been dead. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, 2008. It's like, all right, man. You know, them days been gone. Thank you to Apple again, who says, PBS, Electric Company had Sydney Super Stories. Electric Company had Easy Reader, who was played by an up-and-coming actor named Morgan Freeman. Up-and-coming actor named Morgan Freeman. And it's funny because we all know Morgan Freeman to be the quintessential old man. We know him for that. But on PBS, during their heyday, he was up and coming. That's hilarious. Thank you to Apple again, who says PBS had BBC comedies like Red Dwarf sci-fi comedy. Hilarious. Also, yes, Minister, a political sitcom, as well Blackadder featuring Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, and of course, Monty Python. So funny. Thank you to Michael Guest, who says you left out the big old console TVs. They were the thing during the 1970s, during my childhood. Gen Xer here. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about like the furniture, like the wood grain, the huge, like it was part of your whole thing. Let me see if I could just find a picture. All right, because they're trying to show me Wayfair. Like I don't want no Wayfair garbage. Hold on. I had one, but I wanted to get a better one. Yeah, so like this. Oh yeah. This picture doesn't no justice. You got to really see it in person. So look, this right here was like a piece of furniture. This right here was like, this was so big and heavy. It was like, I can't even really put it into words. Y'all got to just, for the young people, this was like on the floor of your house. There was no TV stand because this was the TV stand. It was on the floor. There was a drawer right there. You had three drawers, one big one in the middle, like a dresser drawer. If you got a dresser in your house, the drawer was like that big with two on the side, and then the TV was like inside the actual wood. Heavy as heavy could be. Try moving that, man, please. Your back going to be all the pieces. All the pieces. This does not do it justice because you're not seeing the scale of how big it is. You sit it on the floor. It was like a bed or a bookshelf or something like that. That's how big this was and heavy. Very heavy. They used to look nice though because it was part of the whole thing, part of your whole furniture setup. Matter of fact, hold on, let me see if I can find like 1975 living room. Let me see if it'll show me that. Let me see if, let me see, hold on. Well, it might not. Here it is. Yeah, there we go. This is kind of how it was. And that might be a 13-inch TV inside of there. But look, here we go. So that's how it used to be. That's how it was. And that's kind of a small one, actually. It's kind of a small one. But you can see how big it is. It's like the size of, what's it, like a credenza table, whatever they call that. That's a small one. The one I just showed you had drawers on the bottom. And it was still the same size TV tube. So imagine that. Imagine how big that was. Heavy as heavy could be. But anyway, let's keep on going here. Thank you to Michael Guess who says you left out the big. Oh, I read that one. Thank you to Apple again who says any ABL fellows remember PBS scooter made in Germany. Also, he says ABL do English accent. It's in the back of the net. I can't do that right now. I gotta brush up on that. It's in the back of the net. It's in the back of the net, and that's about as good as it's gonna get right there. I don't got nothing else for you, boss. Thank you to I Like Salt who says I monetize you. Alrighty, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you to Michael Guess who says yes. Come on up with Jeffrey Tubin as running mate. That'd be crazy. Thank you to Seafoam who says I walk right past him and buy me some chicken. Thank you to King Kong who says waving from Ultimate Welfare State, California. Thank you to Trump Rocks who says get them all out, all illegals out. Absolutely. Thank you to In the Fiction who says I wonder who is behind renting over buying homes. Oh, you want to blame the Jays, an ethnic group of whites, a subgroup of whites. You want to blame them for that? Oh, okay. Thank you to King Kong 3 who says 2030 Agenda World Economic Foundation. You will own nothing and be happy. Thank you to Michael Crislow who said happy birthday to our Vice President J.D. Vance. Right on. Happy birthday, J.D. Vance. And thank you to Tessa Jetta for the pom-pom dancing donation. I appreciate you for that very much. Let's get to a few calls here. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Thank you to the white man right there for the super chat. I appreciate you with the peace sign. Thank you. Let me turn the calls on. Let's get rocking and rolling. King Kong 3, so my beautiful NEC portable TV was 150 pounds. Hey, these TVs, man, I'm telling you. Kids nowadays have no idea. They got these picture frames on the wall that show them TV. Back in our day, we had these monstrosities. And when the TV would go bad, the big floor model, when that would go bad, you put a small one on top. Because at that point, the dead floor model TV became a counter, a table, a TV stand, whatever you needed it to be. That's what it became when it died. 818, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. First, I'd like to go ahead and say I love the show. Great show tonight. So one of some of the things I wanted to speak to you about, though, is, first off, the housing in California. In the hood now, it's actually not 400, 500. It's now like when I left LA, it's like 800,000, like in say like Arleta or Pacoima, or any of those areas. That's when you got like bars on the windows and doors and stuff like that as well. And then the other thing too, the homeless. The homeless was bad when I left there. The politicians there, they make a lot of money off the homeless. A lot of people don't know that. It's a lot like the USAID, but on a smaller scale. And, they create these social programs. They put them in place. The politicians then get those funded through taxpayer money. And then just like every other program, they say, well, their opponent's going to take it away and, people are going to die or whatever. And then those same programs then give money to their campaigns. And so politicians and a lot of other people make a lot of money off the homeless, so they don't actually want to fix that. And then one other thing I wanted to point out, it was a few months back where California went ahead and decided to pass a law by voters to go ahead and start actually punishing people to put them in jail and actually, take care, do the law. And I remember somebody was sitting there saying that I was crazy when I told them it was a dog and pony show. It was just for optics. It would go right back to where it was. And I think I was right on that. It went right back to where it was, where people are continuing to loot, commit crimes, yeah, it's just bad. But yeah, I'm glad I left there. So, but what about your thoughts?
Yeah, California, what I see is a lot of money being made from the homeless problem. They're not trying to solve it. They're trying to profit off of it. And that's just making it worse because they're enabling it. So it's just a thing that is always going to, it's an endless cycle. You guys say they live there. Hey, please do something about it. Okay, let's go give some money to these people. And they are not going to do anything to make it worse because they're getting cash money. If that is allowed to keep going on, then it's always going to be a problem. And the only way to fix the problem is to not allow the homelessness. There's no other way.
Yep. No. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say thanks again for the night. Thanks for taking my call. And yeah, and like I said, though, yeah, way more expensive than 400. If you get a house for 400,000 out there, like especially like Arleta, Sunland, or Pacoima, those are bad areas. Man, you'd be getting a steal. Let me tell you. You know, those homes are like 800,000, 900,000 now. So anyway, though, I hope you have a good night. Thank you, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. 770, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Bill. This is Mauricio from the chat.
All righty, man. What's going on?
This housing situation you were talking about. I'm here for the trailers. I like it all. The RVs. I have a few buddies, actually. Two of my buddies who bought RVs. They hit the road. They lived on the road for a couple of years. They loved it. It was great. They eventually went around and bought a house. But I think it's just wild that we are being reduced to that option only. I think that we need to kick out Vanguard, BlackRock, all these other hedge funds, maybe China as well, from buying homes. I mean, it's a state of affairs when companies need to rely on real estate income for their bottom line. I like what we were doing with China when we said they can't buy farmland in the country. I would like to see the same thing with hedge funds if Trump could come out, and I don't even know what he could do, but I think that's what's driving up intentionally the housing prices, and they're pricing us out. And as I say, as people have said, you will live in the pods. You know, I feel like that might be a real reality. And so I'm a little curious what you think about all these hedge funds pricing us out of the market effectively.
I don't think it's them. I think what's happening is Americans are not able to really afford to buy a home. So there's a need, there's a demand for rental property. I think that's what's happening. And I understand where you're coming from, but truthfully, if we go back in our history, Americans never had so much access to all these giant houses. Like our grandparents lived in very small houses, like 500 square foot. Like go to some of the older neighborhoods that are still around today. These houses were tiny. 800 square foot, 900 square foot. But now Americans feel like we got to have homes that are like 3,000 square foot, double car garage, all kind of stuff. We're living at a higher level than ever before. And we don't really understand what it's like to not live like that.
I understand that. I can go to my grandmother's house and see her little tiny 2-room house. And I'm like, what did you, but she got a house, and so I see that point. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm just curious to see who's really buying all these houses and pricing this out. I don't think it's the American. I don't even think it's necessarily just inflation alone. But I don't know. I'm curious.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, there we go.
Are you good?
There we go. Yeah, I'm good now.
All right, go ahead.
I was saying, I would like to see some of these receipts. I remember going to visit my grandmother. She's got a tiny little 2-bedroom like house, and I was like, how did you live here all these? She still lives there in that little tiny little 2-bedroom home set aside, and I see how the houses were smaller. For us to have no families now, it's ironic that we need bigger homes, I suppose.
Exactly. So I think what needs to happen is we need to kind of go back to a previous time. Like these McMansions, I don't like them, to be totally honest with you. It's cool when you look at it from the outside and you look at the brochure and all of that, but really My house is entirely too big. It's 2,800 square foot. I'm here by myself. For what? I could live in 800 square foot and be totally happy. So I think that if we kind of go back to a time where things kind of made sense for the majority of Americans, it would help us. The McMansion, big houses for everybody, that's probably why things cost so much. The homes were not as big and not as just extra and gaudy and pretentious in previous times. That's part of the reason why it didn't cost as much.
I feel, but I look at townhomes, and they're still, outrageously priced. And I'm like, okay, this is a townhome. It's okay. Granted, 2 floors, not 1 floor like grandma's house. But I don't know. I guess that's just my 2 cents about it. And I love the show, man. Appreciate what you're doing. You're doing the Lord's work. I also love to see the downfall of NPR and PBS. I think cable's dying. It's on the way out. I don't know why people still watch cable just to have 75% ads all day long, but that's just my 2 cents. So, you take it easy, man. You do the thing. I'll be watching you, and we'll be in touch. All right.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. Let's go to 208. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL, how are you? This is Tom.
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Well, I'm doing well. Just wanted to call in and tell you great show tonight. As usual, you do a fantastic job. And I just wanted to comment on the Kamala Harris. Well, first of all, the eggs. I noticed you put a little bit of that in your program earlier. I just went and bought eggs yesterday for the first time in quite some time. And the last time, and this was 3 months ago, I looked at my receipt. This was 3 months ago. I paid $33.98 for 5 dozen of eggs. I went back to the same place yesterday and bought the same 5 dozen of eggs for $13.
Wow, big difference.
Brother, I'm telling you. And so anybody that jumps on here and says, oh, Trump said day one, yada, 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 I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in my household, in my refrigerator. I would sure like it if diesel prices would come down a little bit, but, I'll take the eggs. And then as far as Kamala Harris goes, I just wanted to celebrate with you here a little bit because I hope your heart is aligned with mine. If I never have to hear the Kamala cackle again in public, it will be too soon.
I'm right there with you, man. Same.
I hope this is one time she's not lying through her crooked teeth and she's actually stepping away from politics. But, they call them dirty Democrats for a reason, so we'll see if she holds true to that or if she gets scooched back in there. I mean, they don't have a whole lot to choose from other than Cory Booker or Hakeem Jeffries, and I don't see those guys going anywhere.
Nah, they don't have it. Really, nobody on their side really has it. I mean, Obama, I'm not a fan of his politically, but he had it. Nobody on their side right now has it. So, yeah, that's going to be 2 abysmal choices.
Well, I can't wait to see. I hope and pray, and I'm really praying. I'm not going to be a naysayer like a lot of people are. Oh, everybody's in trouble, but there's never going to be a rest. I hope and pray, and I'll give it to December. I hope and pray by December that somebody is wearing a set of bracelets. Just somebody of the upper echelon. I don't care who it is. Arrest somebody, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
All right, my brother. Keep up the good shows, and I'll see you next time I'm in.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Shout out to you guys for watching. As always, you guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And again, the number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. The number is always in the ticker. It'll go by eventually. Also, always in the description box below the video. All right. But yeah, definitely great call. Let's go to 202. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, Anthony. It's your favorite president.
All right, we doing this.
How are you?
I'm
doing well.
I'm doing well. About yourself?
I'm doing great. We've been getting a lot of things done. I've been very busy actually getting everything, ready. We're getting a lot of things ready for the golden age. I don't know if you know this, but we're working tirelessly, very tirelessly.
Hey, that sounds great to me because I want the country to go forward in a positive direction. So I like what I'm seeing so far.
I know. And you know what? We're getting all the numbers in a nice direction, right? It's a really great direction that we're going with everything. You take a look at the stock market. I mean, you take a look at the stock market right now. It's doing incredibly. And I know that we've got a lot of investors out there that are, they're pouring billions of dollars into our country to start their business because they say, sir, your country was dead just 1 year ago, and now it's the hottest thing anywhere in the world. It's the hottest country. So it's really amazing what we're doing. It's really great. It's really wonderful. Do you have any questions for me while I'm on the line?
I think the main thing is some say that you kind of mentally, you're not really there. You're kind of slipping. You kind of sound like Joe Biden. I'm not saying that, but some have said that. So what do you say to those who say you lost a step? You're not
I think those people are crazy, to be honest with you, Anthony. I think those people have a thing called TDS, right? You know what that is? Everybody does. It's Trump derangement syndrome, and it's running wild. It's running wild, as Hulk used to say, right? Running wild, but in a bad, it's a bad situation what we've got. But I think it's all turning in the right direction, but we need to do something about it in the midterms. It's a big one. Without the midterms, we're really screwed. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be very hard. So everybody that's listening, you got to get out there. I don't know. I don't care. You got to get out there and vote. You got to do something that's going to make our country great again. And the midterms are that. I have to be honest. It's going to be huge, right?
Absolutely, for sure. That's great advice. Get out there in the midterms because we need it. 2026 and 2028.
It's true. And you know what? If we don't do that, we've got a lot of problems. You've got some very corrupt people. Barack Hussein Obama, everybody's talking about him too, right? Everybody's talking about Barack. He's done some crazy things with Hillary, and we're looking into it. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself because, we've got a couple surprises on the way. We've got a couple surprises, but you know what? I think you're going to like it. I think everybody's going to like it.
Hey, it sounds great to me. Sounds amazing.
Absolutely. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'll just tell you it's really something great for our country. You've got some really smart people in the audience. You've got a lot of fans, super fans too, which is great. And I see that your ratings are much, much greater than Stephen Colbert. So that's just wonderful, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I won't take up too much of your time. Anthony, I hope you have a hell of a time talking to all these other great people, all these great patriots, and God bless you, okay?
All right, thank you for your call, President Trump. I definitely appreciate you.
Absolutely. God bless you.
All right, shout out to President Trump for calling in. I appreciated that. So, hey man, we got celebrities calling the show, okay? Listen, Stephen Colbert could never just have Trump call him on the air. He could never. So yeah, shout out to President Trump for calling in the show. All right, President Trump. 859, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yo, ABL, the combination of Homie and LA, and it's I love Bay. How's it going, your libertarian friend? How's it going? Talking about RVs and trailers and stuff, and the housing going really insane with all the prices and stuff like that. And BlackRock, it's of course they're going to get houses. They're going to be out of our price range of the working class. It's always been that way, and California and all these other states, they just make money off the homelessness, and it's a market in there in government. Sadly, it's the reality that we see right now. So how's it going, AB? How's your night?
I mean, everything's all good, man. Can't complain. How about yourself?
Oh man, poking it, working, and living life, man. Hey, I bet I haven't seen too much of your stuff from your Uncle ABL show recently, and I was just curious, man. Have you working on anything with fitness or workout or foods like high protein diets? recipes sound like a fantastic thing that you could probably put on the podcast. And the 1 meal a day thing, I think you should educate people on that. That is a fantastic idea. Not much people can do it, but when you do it, it's actually pretty good results.
That's a good question. I was just filming another cooking video the other day. I did it a little bit better. I think I'm gonna put that on Uncle ABL, and I'm also I will do more about fitness and my diet, my 1 meal a day, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely do a lot more with that. But I did already film another video, so that's coming out really soon. It's already on my phone right now, so you'll see that ASAP.
Right on. Happy to hear from you, ABL. I'm going to go ahead and continue door dashing, smoking the token, and chilling out and delivering food. Have a good one, guys. ABL out in the chat. Hey, do me that 420. Hoorah! See you guys later.
All right. Great call. Shout out to man for the call. And somebody says 1 meal a day is weak AF if you want to build muscle. Well, it depends on what you're eating. That's the thing. Are you eating nutrient-dense foods, or are you eating carbohydrates, a lot of sodium? Like, what are you actually eating? I eat nutrient-dense meals. My 1 meal a day is different than your 1 meal a day. What are you going to eat for? Like, what does a meal look like to you? Then I'll tell you what mine is. It's different. It ain't the same. Do you eat a meal of all fresh produce? Or are we talking about McDonald's? Like, what are we talking about exactly? Is it nutrient dense? If you're eating meals that are not nutrient dense, you're going to need more than 1 meal a day to gain any kind of muscle. Everybody say I look like I'm jacked when I'm on Instagram because you see more of my whole upper torso. Oh, ABL, what's your workout routine? I don't do no working out. Most I'm going to do is some push-ups, and that's it. What I do is I eat right. Your diet is 90% of how you look physically. That's why I look the way I look. It's because of my diet, period. I go outside, I walk around, a little bit of cardio, but the gym to me is a gay place. I'm good, but that's a different story. 740, you don't lie. Who am I speaking to?
How you doing, ABL? It's Jeff from West Virginia.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Well, I just thought I'd call and talk a little bit. I ain't got a lot of jokes for you lined up tonight, but the Kamala Harris thing, do you really want to know why she's never going to run for president or governor again?
Why's that?
Because she left the presidential campaign with millions in debt. And you have to have top-tier donors to support something like that. And she has already shown she can't handle that kind of money. She can't handle that kind of pressure. And if you can't get the donors for a presidential campaign, you're done.
That's right, because they were mad last time. There was that Chinese lady that came on TV and said, hey, I was told that she was going to win, but look at what happened, and we gave all this money, so why would anybody go through the same thing? That's a really good point.
It's absolutely. Well, anyways, I'll talk about one more politician up in New York. What's his name? Mumbly Humbummy or whatever?
Who?
The guy from New York that wants to be mayor of New York, whatever his name is, Humbly Bumbly or whatever.
Yeah, you talking about...
Listen, man, it's like, yes, they can vote for him. Because, listen, communism always works for the guy on top. I mean, talk to Mao or Stalin about that, right? And when he tries to, and when there's no more free food and no more free money to give away, I just want to warn all you leftist vote New Yorkers, when you come down here and start rummaging around in these fields, these old boys are going to teach you the price of corn.
That's right.
So, anyways, I'll holler at you later, man.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
One more thing. Shout out to Trump calling in and remembering all of us little people. We really appreciate it, big guy. We'll holler at you later, ABL.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, definitely. Yeah, shout out to President Trump for calling in to the show. Yeah, Zoran, he was like, mumbly bumbly. I was like, huh? Talking about Zoran. That was funny. Always a great call. Shout out to my man for the call. Coming from West Virginia. West Virginia. All right. But yeah, Peg, for me personally, the gym is not really the kind of place I want to be. I get too much of the male gaze in the gym. I'm good. I don't want no dudes looking at me like that. I don't want no guys all on my, you know what I mean? The young ladies, that's fine, but for the men, I don't want to have to fight one of y'all and get locked up, so I'm good, man. Let me just stay over here. Let me just stay over here, man, and just not do that. Okay, hold on. But yeah, your diet is very, very, very important. So if you guys not subscribed to the Uncle ABL channel, please do so. The link's in the box. You could go to my regular page and subscribe to it. You could just search Uncle ABL. I'll pop right on up. More lifestyle stuff over there. And since my man called me and said, hey, I want some more of that food content, come on now. I got him. I'm most certainly do something for him. You get it? TJ says it's a handsome fella. I get it. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? I'm not, I'm good. I don't. And my dad was the same way. My dad had 6-pack abs in his 50s. He was always in shape. He had a whole home gym, like right in the front bedroom. Whole home gym. He had everything. I can't even, it was like a whole sea of metal in that room. But I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way. I got a room where it's just, I have a gym in my house. I have a bike, stationary bike. I have a bench that can incline and decline. Not a weight bench, not like a bar. I had that when I was in high school. I had a bar in my room when I was like in high school, like to lift weights. So when I saw Eric Swalwell lifting 135, I'm like, bro, 135. I was doing 135 when I was like in middle school, and that was just nothing. That was just regular. You got to be at least 200 plus if you're going to be doing some kind of video with you lifting weights. But anyway, I had a weight bench in high school, and now I have just a flat bench that can incline or decline, and I have weights that you can select. Like I have dumbbells you could select the different weights. If you've seen those, I have those. I have a power tower. I could do pull-ups, dips. I could do push-ups on that if I want to. I could do my exercise, lifting my legs up on it. And is that it? Yeah. The stationary bike, the bench, the dumbbells, and the power tower. I got all of that in one room in my house. But I don't like going to the gym. Only reason I would go to the gym is for the Stairmaster, because it's expensive to buy one. But really, at a certain point, I'll pay the $5 for a Stairmaster just to have it in my house and have to go to the gym. But also, there's a gym that's not too far from me. It's small. I prefer a very small gym. Planet Fitness, all of that, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good on Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, Crunch Fitness. It's fine if you go there, but I prefer a small gym or my house. Or I just go outside. Go outside and really just do my workout that way. But the main thing you got to do, to anybody out there trying to get in shape, trying to stay in shape, trying to stay healthy, is fix your diet. That's what you got to do all day long. Green Lady says, ABL's got good genes. Yes, I do have very good genes. Okay, me and Dad, like that's identical right there. So shout out to Dad, shout out to Mom, shout out to everybody. Everybody has good genes. Well, not everybody. Some of y'all, I don't know, be a little janky. But you guys in the chat have great genes. That's why you're watching me right now, because if nothing else, you get that brain power, and that is worth its weight in gold and some. Okay. Let me see. Jacqueline really says, I found out if you work out a lot in the gym. And it says, I found out if you work out a lot, if you work a lot, gym is not required. Okay, I get it. Okay. So if you work a lot, if you on your feet, if you're doing stuff, I get it. 100%. Yeah, and also, coconut water. We were talking about soda pop. I have a home gym, but I don't really use it that much. So that's the thing. I go in there sometimes, but I'm not really. I have it if I want to just, but for the most part, I don't. I'm not a gym rat at all. My main thing is a diet. Okay, that's all. Okay, hold on. Ian Jones says, them guys in the pen doing good with limited everything. We could all be jacked. Yeah, because these guys, what they do is they have a certain kind of diet in there where they can't really overeat, because what are you really going to be eating? They can't really overeat. They're not eating the most nutritious food, but they can't overeat. And then they're doing a lot of body weight stuff in their cell. A lot of push-ups, burpees. That's a good one if you could do those. Burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, if you could do pull-ups at all, incline, decline, push-ups. Yeah, I do a lot of incline push-ups. That's my favorite. Incline push-ups with my upper body spread like that. Or I'll do them like diamond shaped incline. Or spread, decline, diamond shape, decline, or just flat level, doing the same thing. I might switch it up and then do dips on the chair. That's what they do in the penitentiary, and they do that repetitively a lot, and they keep like trying to beat their own record. So they've been in the penitentiary for a long time, not eating big bad snacks. They're not really drinking like that, because how are you going to get that in the jail? So a lot of times these guys come out looking better than guys that have been free, because the guys who are free are also free to eat and drink and whatever. And they have more time to just kind of be leisurely and not be focused on their physical body. That's right, TJ. Pull-ups are the hardest. Pull-ups are the hardest for sure. Yeah, if you don't have that upper body really right, and if you heavy especially, it could be difficult. You get 3 meals a day for a day, but see, the difference is in jail, you're not getting a meal in jail is not a meal in the free world. A meal in the free world is going to Applebee's and eating 2,000 calories in one time. A meal in the free world is Starbucks in the morning, 1,000 calories, plus a lemon loaf from Starbucks with those little cakes, 500 more calories, 800 more calories. So all throughout your day, you're consuming so many calories with minimal work to actually work it off. And you're not exercising like the way you are in the penitentiary. In the penitentiary, they're getting a certain set number of calories, like rations, and they're working out. Plus, they're not drinking or smoking or nothing like that, because they don't have access to it. In the free world, we're doing that. All the things you do add up. It adds up. See, I never was a smoker or a drinker or nothing like that. That's part of the reason why physically I look the exact same for a very long time. My beard is the only thing that keeps me looking old. If not for my beard being gray like this, you would think I'm a lot younger than what I am. You would think I'm like in my 20s. If my beard was black, you would say I'm like 28. If you see me in person, it'll make more sense, especially. Zumba, what about Zumba? Hey, if you like Zumba, I think Zumba is for the young ladies. I'm not really a Zumba guy. I like to go in the gym and just do what I want if I went to a gym. And most men are like that. Most men are going to want to do exercises by themselves. Women are going to want to go to a class and be instructed, which is natural. That's totally natural. So I think that's more for the women. What a man would do what a man would do is teach the class. He'll be the instructor of the class. If I see a man in the Zumba class, I already know what time it is. Him downstairs. Okay, him downstairs. That's all. Somebody said diet black. NKM says diet black. I know I thought about dyeing my beard. I thought about doing just for men. But I'm like, nah. I think the beard it helps, because people can be intimidated by me because I'm a big person. So the beard, it kind of like softens them up. Oh, he's an old man. It's okay. So it's fine. It's fine. Paulina, you're funny. Say, I don't look a day past 62, but I get good skin. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Guts Berserk says a fast walk is sufficient enough to burn fat, zone 2 or 3 heart rate. Yes, exactly. That's right. Free Thinking Woman says, I'm working in the ER right now. Things I see makes me want to DIE before I get old. It's sad. Well, hey, Free Thinking Woman, what you want to do is take care of yourself and make it be a priority. Take care of yourself very well. Treat your body well, and your body will treat you well. Because check it out. I got family members that's like old, 90s, but they still are good. They're totally fine. They're getting around fine. They're not scrambling. They're not struggling with their health. My great-grandmother lived to be 95 years old, and up until the day she died, she was very sharp. It wasn't a tragedy. Take care of yourself, because a lot of people don't take care of themselves, and then when they get to be older, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, man, I'm falling apart. I got COPD. I got this, that, and the third. What am I going to do? Yeah, real teeth for sure. Real teeth. No veneers. I'm not necessarily against veneers, but I don't got none of that in my mouth. Beard stays the same. Yeah, I ain't changing the beard, Casey. Not at all. I think that God gave me the gray beard because it made me look like more authoritative. If I still had the baby face, I look a lot younger than what I look right now. It's Uncle ABL. Hey, people asking me questions, Steve, and I think the calls are finished for tonight, so I think that's going to be it. But yeah, people asking me questions, so I'm just answering the questions. Okay, you'd be surprised how many women on the bike path. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Shout out to them being out there on the bike path. Humongous Shift says, low just for men, ABL, take 5 years. I mean, the thing about it, I look much older online than I do in person. If you see me in person, it's different. It's much different. Yeah. Ian Jones says, I'm bald and grand at 45. I'll take it all day. For sure. Jagular says, remember all those 90-plus smokers and drinkers in the 90s? Hey, some of them still around, but a lot of them are not. You know, they got the little stuff that they got that going on. Okay. Green Out Lady says, my weight would be perfect if I was a few inches taller. Hey, just stretch it out. Hey, that's a solution right there. Just stretch it out. You 5'5"? Okay, go to 5'8". It'll just stretch out. So it's fine. It's fine. Gus Berserk says, being a couch potato makes your body break down faster as you age. Higher risk for illnesses also. Yes, I try to stay on my feet as much as possible all the time. This desk is a standing desk. So if I'm editing, I could stand up the whole time. When I do my Instagram live, that's part of the reason why I do it like that. When I do my Instagram live, when I do any of my short form videos that's not from my streams, I'm always standing. I never sit down and do it. When I do my Instagram live stream for an hour or two, I'm standing the whole time. The entire time. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it for compliment on my teeth. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. All righty. But I think that'll be a wrap for me. I'm going to read some more comments, but that'll be a wrap. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. I'll be back live again on Tuesday on Instagram. Again, Tuesday on Instagram, I'll be back live, but I'm back live on YouTube every Wednesday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And shout out to you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting. Y'all know I could not do the show without you. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. Y'all know I couldn't do it without you. And this is also an audio streaming podcast. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platform, whether it be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just search ABL Live on your favorite audio streaming platform, and that should pop right on up. Also, what else I got? Oh, go to Rumble. I'm over on Rumble. The long form, well, not the long form, the regular 10-minute videos, those will be over on Rumble. Link for that will be in the box. And also, subscribe to Uncle ABL. You can hear more lifestyle content about men, women, money, food, diet, how to eat, how to take care of yourself, how not to be a big back. Hey, we don't want no big backs in 2025, and I know how to not be a big back. I've lost a lot of weight and got to a nice space. So, a little bit about me before I wrap it on up. And I know, hey, give me a little bit of time. I've been as heavy as 280, I would say. And when I was 280, I didn't look like I was, big back. I was just looking like I was somebody's security guard. One of those guys. You ever see us like a celebrity security guard is like real big? I was like that. Because I am 6'3", so I was big and tall. I've been as much as 280, and I got down to 180. At 180, I was a little bit too light. I didn't like the way I felt. It was just, I felt weak. Now I'm like 215. I think right there is a sweet spot for me, 215. Okay. So I've gained, lost, and then got right back to a sweet spot. And if I find myself, if I'm getting a little bit too big, if I'm like 220, I can just cut easily down to 215, just like that at 40 years old. So if I can do it, you can do it. Okay. And it's better to do this when you're younger rather than trying to do it when you get to be 70 years old. But it's still possible even at that age. It's all about your diet. But again, I'll talk more about that over on Uncle ABL. So y'all please tap in. And if you got a fat 15-year-old nephew or something like that, send him my content. I'll get him right. He'll be in tip-top shape if you watches a few of my videos on the subject. I promise it'll be fine. But yeah, subscribe to that channel. That channel will be in the description box on the front page of the channel. Also, search on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Uncle ABL. I'll pop right on up. And I'm on the TikToks. I am on TikTok, so you can find me over there. I'm 1,000 years old over there, but it's fine. I'll put some Uncle ABL content and the regular content over there because they might be cool with it. But I think that'll pretty much be a wrap for me. Thank you to Tessa Janetta for the super chat with the pom-poms. And again, thank you to the white man for the peace sign emoji super chat. But that will be a wrap for me. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.